yeah.
us.
Hello.
Pull up a chair and join us.
You didn't wait for my go ahead.
Perfect.
This
Here with
guy.
episode 15 of our homebrewed D&D campaign, the Chaoslands. As always, we have a handful of quick announcements before we start. We go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's right now. Maybe, if you're watching this live, it's right now. And our WODs are uploaded to YouTube every Friday. We also do reruns on our Twitch channel every Thursday morning and Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Give us a follow down below to get a notification whenever we're about to go live, and do join us for our rerun chats, as we're sometimes in chat for that, and it's fun. While you're checking out the links below, be sure to follow us. I'm having a really good day today.
Yeah, this is holy.
While you're checking out the links below, be sure to follow us on all of our social media accounts, our Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, for all the latest news and schedule updates, as well as awesome character art, profiles, and other fun things. Also, even though we won't be using it remotely, still give a quick shout out to Syrinscape, because epic games need epic sound. Syrinscape is a digital tool with a collection of amazing sound sets and music that we use to improve the ambiance of our game and stream. If you're looking for a way to improve the immersion at your RPG table, go check them out at Syrinscape.com. Another special announcement for this week is that next week we're going to be off for some scheduling issues, as well as trying to get everything set up and good to go for being back at the table soon, very shortly. Maybe in a week, maybe in a couple. We'll post updates on our social media when we're coming live.
Basically, the next episode will be live.
Yes, again,
from the
back
table.
at the table.
From the table.
Yes. It will be fun. It's something that we've been looking forward to for a while, and I can't wait to get back in person and get the ball rolling again.
Hell yeah.
All right. Unless there are any other announcements.
Nerp.
Previously on the Chaoslands. The Iron Will, having secured an official contract with the Chief Engineer's office in Schema, spent a day planning their next steps, how to make their way down into Ward 3, and how to get started on their project to restore power to Ward 8. But before heading out, due to the day or two that it would take you to make the trip while Tymon was still exhausted, you decided to spend today, in particular, wrapping up some loose ends in Ward 1 first. You paid a visit to Amalia Wobblefall, the mother of a tinkerer that had been close friends with Tymon's sister Anya. Visiting the retired artificer in her reclusive estate in Ward 1, you found her living in fear, and she turned out to be a familiar face for some of you. After an illuminating and at times emotional, at times tense conversation, you left and made your way back to the Big One's home, having discovered yet another intriguing thread to follow up on in this city of seemingly connected fates. Arriving at the Sparkeye home, you were confronted by an Inspector Caspian of the Elite Artificer Guards, who had been looking into the explosion at the Old Iron Salvage Yard. Confronted with the possibility of an alchemical-related explosive device that caused the explosion, and with Loxodon footprints discovered at the scene, she immediately deemed the Big One as a person of interest in the investigation. But through some confident deception, you were able to hide your presence at the scene at the very moment of the explosion occurring from the seasoned investigator.
That was legitimately the first time the Big One has successfully lied to somebody. So it was a big moment.
And she was unable to find any convincing evidence in your workshop or in the surroundings, and hesitantly left you all alone for the evening. As you all had your nice long rest, some scattered about in the Big One's workshop, others perched atop a shed under the clear night sky, you wake up in the morning, refreshed, and Tymon a little lighter of step.
He's back, baby!
You all get your long rest.
Can walk in normal speed again. That's so exciting. It's been months. That's so exciting. It's been months. That's so exciting. It's been months. Yes, recover 1 level of exhaustion. Yes.
You wake up in the morning. Who's the first to wake up? Who's the...
yeah, I would be really early riser this morning as well. It was a pretty rough night, so get up, start a new day. Ooh, take my goggles off. I don't know if Tymon's waking
goggles
up.
On?
No, I went to bed to hide my tears last night.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot.
I was
Sorry.
sad.
Tymon wakes up.
Yeah. Oh, good morning, Tymon.
Good morning, Big One. Oh, let me put my breeches on. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. You look a little more pep in your step this morning. Are you feeling better?
I still a little hurts a little bit here and there, a little bit tired, but I feel much better. And then he starts
wonderful.
Kind of
Oh.
running around in circles, like, I think I'm gonna do my morning routine.
wow.
And then he goes outside to the backyard and starts like doing push-ups.
So I'll follow you out, and then I don't know if the people who slept outside. I think it was just Astra, but I'll walk
Yeah.
past you. I'm going to make some breakfast. Would you care for any?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. And I'll go in the kitchen and start cooking breakfast for everybody, including my father.
Who's waking up after the two early risers? I guess who else was sleeping in the workshop? You would have woken up with some noise and
I think
coming
Arknir
to you.
was.
I think that might have been me. Yeah. Just kind of open my eyes and see the other two getting up, and they're nice and up and perky, and Arguer's just taking his time, just like enjoying his break right now, and kind of just trying to rest after the past couple of days. So after a while, he gets up and makes his way outside. But I assume I see Timon at this point already working out.
The dwarf hauling ass outside.
33, 34, 35.
Kelter, you were probably already awake, but just in your trance.
Yep.
Or
Yeah, it would be wrapping it up. Probably also as I likely kind of see people moving around. So yeah, just get up and tidy up because I was just sitting somewhere. So just kind of like pack up my stuff, put I would have already have put the book and stuff away. So yeah, just tidy up my mat and everything and get up and guess see what others are doing.
not much has changed in your trance over the week or so that you've been with these folks. You still see the similar sort of like almost lines and points, the constellation-like figures that make up at least some of your companions.
Mhm.
When you go in your trance, so you can keep a little bit of a passive eye upon them as they sleep, mostly.
And there hasn't because I mean, I guess it would have only have been the crew over when we were at Sophistication that maybe would be the only crew I would have seen elsewhere. But there's been
Nope.
nobody else who's I've seen that way,
Nope.
right? Okay.
Nobody else. And Astra, as you wake up with the sun kind of shining down on your face because you're on top of a ceiling with no real shade.
Mm.
You're perched on top and you hear almost like some grunting and workout sounds coming from nearby.
I think I fell asleep with the amulet around my neck, but I fell asleep with it on my cheek. So now I just have like lines and imprints on my face from the amulet. she'll reluctantly get up and kind of scoot off the roof down to see what's going on.
Oh,
You
good
find
morning, lass. Didn't see you there.
Why are you making so much noise?
I feel great. I'm just getting started with my morning routine. Why are you sleeping on top of the shed?
Why not? What are you? What? Why are you? What are you doing? Who are you?
These are called squats. They are great for your legs. And I'm Timon. Do you know me?
Little legs.
Are yeah. You've been weird lately. You've been acting different.
What,
Timon doesn't
lass?
exercise. Timon doesn't exercise. Remember, we have to push you around in apple barrels and carry you and dress you up like a baby. I haven't forgotten about that.
Lass,
You're
I'm
not the type to.
offended. Of course I am. I might have not been doing that much lately because, I'm away from home, but I've always woken up early and done my drills.
If it's
For
because
example, look at this. And then he grabs his short axe and then starts doing a couple of drills. Like,
oh, damn, that's pretty good. But Timon, if you're starting to feel self-conscious about I know you tend to move at the speed of peanut butter a little bit, but if you're feeling self-conscious about that, we don't mind. You don't have to try to like, build up your so that you can keep up with us.
Are you alright, Laz?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
are you
you
having a
good?
seizure? I see half of your face looks a little bit paralyzed.
Oh, drool?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that happens. Oh, oh. I think I fell asleep on my amulet.
Oh, okay. That's what
Does
it
it look
is.
does it look cool though, or does it look like almost like a cool tattoo or
What
I
does
don't
it look like, DM?
It looks like about a 5 out of 20 in terms of how cool it looks. Coolness chart.
what do you think?
Uh, let's work on that, Laz. Let's work
Okay.
on that.
Well,
Big one is making some breakfast inside. You might want to head in.
okay.
Yeah, and if you
All
peer in,
right.
I'm just in my element. Got my little apron on, little purple apron. I'm just whipping up a mean breakfast.
Nice.
You see that Spark Eye has kind of come down and is sitting at the table. He's just reading a book. He's like leafing halfway through it, roughly.
Morning.
Good morning.
Bring a bunch of teas over, the nice, perfect little tea sets. Just put them in front of everybody. Oh, good morning, Astra.
Uh, thank you. Tea?
Yep.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, the rest of you all gather around the table, have some tea and breakfast. And
I
tastes
get
pretty
some
good.
sengoku.
Yes, it tastes very good. A 20 out of a 20 in terms of good tasteness.
Tastes pretty good.
Yes. Well, we have a pretty busy day ahead of us. I think we should head to the Golden Anvil at some point today. It'll probably take a little bit longer. I don't think we can go the normal route as it seems to be blocked off. But we should definitely head that way and at least get a little familiar with the area, get set up, and perhaps check out the area, find some lodging.
Yes, I think we have to go down through Ward 5,
Mm.
and then up through the entrance into Ward 4 from there, given Ward 1 is kind of in lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a
Is
little
it
bit.
Ward 1 that's in lockdown, or is it Ward 4?
I believe it's the Ward 1 is in a lockdown state, and the entrance from Ward 1 to Ward 4 is currently closed.
Oh, okay.
So Ward 4 we can enter. We just have to go through a different route, as Kalthir just mentioned.
What is all of that about Ward 4?
I think we need to
Being...
be cautious of being around Ward 4. There are some messages in the stars last night. I think there's a battle coming.
Well,
What did you see?
Oh, just there's a shield constellation which tends to indicate Genasius, Genasius, the brave. Um, he's just this dude. He's all about
he's just a dude.
just a dude. He's all about like battle and fighting for the common folk. I don't know. I interpret that to mean there's a battle coming between Ward 4 and maybe Ward 8. I think war is coming.
It's quite unsettling to hear. I know my father can speak this to a little bit, but unfortunately, over the years, the people of Ward 4 tend to not get along with a number of people here in Schema, primarily the artificers. Let's just say we don't really see eye to eye. They have their own.
I'm gonna correct that. Ward 4 has historically been like the general ward. It is the city. The proper, like the majority of Schema's population lives in Ward 4. And relationships between Ward 4 and Ward 1 have historically been fine. It's everything
Good.
started to build up since Ward 8 basically came up.
Okay, so I'll just
And Ward 8 has
amend
caused
that.
shutdowns and blackouts and things around the city, but they've been more focused on Ward 4. So people are upset in Ward 4
Gotcha.
because of Ward
Okay.
8.
So I will skip the part where I said over the years, and I'll just say, well, yeah, I'll just. Unfortunately, with everything happening in Ward 8 and the power outages around the city, Ward 4 seems to be affected the most, and it's caused quite a bit of tensions from the folks who live there. I don't see why we would have any problem passing through it, though. I mean, we're just passing through, and we're just innocent bystanders.
Just a hunch I have. Something's coming.
We heard of trouble when we were up at the spire. The big one and Arkmir were with me, and there were people meeting in a room right next to us, and they talked about I don't know. People are unsettled at Ward 4. There's conflict brewing.
I think if there's potentially, if those stars are correct and what we did here in the Spire is true, I think it's more important than ever to get Ward 8 back on its feet. Perhaps if we can get this device set up and restore Ward 8, it would solve a lot of these conflicts. I'm not sure. I'm not for certain that would change anything, but certainly if there was stable power there, I'm sure it could only help.
We need to build that first, lad. That will take some time.
Well,
And
for sure.
we will need help to operate this. We won't be able to stick around to provide power to the world on a daily basis. We have other things to do.
Oh, for sure. Based on the blueprints, we could certainly get this built and then find an operator. Step one, like as you mentioned, is just to get the thing built, and to do that, we need to get to the anvil. So,
Aye. We should go.
if everybody's finished their breakfast, Father, do you need anything? Are we okay?
You look at Hoku and his cheeks are just like full like chipmunks full of breakfast.
No, Spark Eye turns to you. No, good luck with what you're working on, and please let me know if anything happens. If there's anything I can do to help, stay in touch. You know, the city is starting to become more and more dangerous, so I
For
hope you
sure.
stay safe.
We'll probably avoid traveling back here as often until we get things underway. If anything comes up, I'll write to you, Father.
Thank you. You all grab your backpacks, finish up your breakfast, make your way out into the front yard. Where as you walk towards the gate leading out from the estate, is there anything you want to pick up? Are you taking the cart, or are you just leaving the iron cart here? What's the plan?
For player question, I can't remember from last session. Did we show Sparkeye the list of names? I don't think
I don't think
I
so.
we did,
so.
right? Okay, so yeah,
I
Arc
think you
returns.
asked him about a couple. Like you asked him about Fado, but
Right. I want to turn to Sparkeye and pull out the list of names and ask Sparkeye, do any of these names mean anything to you outside of Fado, of course?
what were the names again?
Von Dyke.
Yep.
Ayas, Ayas. Philippe, Veronica, and there's Fado, Ezekiel, and then there's Lyra Lovelace.
He looks at it. He doesn't recognize most of them. Obviously, he recognizes Fado.
Mhm.
The Jagic family, I see their names on there. They're a famous sort of noblemen from Ward 2. They're like self-styled merchant lords, they call them. Well, the Jagic family. That's the only name out of all of these lists that you mentioned that rings any sort of bell. Really.
Sorry, and what is it that they do? They're just
Oh, I
There's
think they
no-
made their money in some textile business, like exporting clothes,
Thank you.
exporting and importing clothes.
He's an exporter importer.
What's
I mean,
the
I've
name?
just heard of
Sorry?
them, the Jagic family.
As they're well
JAGIC.
known for their success. it seems,
They're
or-
known in some circles. I think they're mostly they were more active in the past. I think at this point now I personally I don't I've just heard of them. I don't know them or what they look like or who they are, but the names ring a bell.
Well, thank you. This helps.
Do we feel like we need to carry the cart? I mean, I can carry most of my tools and supplies in my bag, but I think we have free reign to take this cart based on the letter that Miss Halfstep's office provided us.
Sparkeye looks at you and if you're not taking it, leave it and like put it in your workshop or something. I
Sure.
don't want it just standing out here.
Certainly. What do
We
you guys
should-
think?
Do we
Should
need it for
take
the
it.
iron?
We need it for the iron.
We may
Uh,
need it to transport the device afterwards too.
yeah. Technically, we might not need it for the iron because they might provide some. But yes, just that was a player note. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could certainly carry. I have no problem bringing it with us. Like I said, I don't think we'll run into any trouble. So, Father, we'll take it with us, so it's out of your way.
I'll help you.
Thank
I feel better today.
Harmon, you look great.
He's been
Not quite there,
Mm.
but much better.
Big one. Perhaps you should sit in the cart this time.
Oh, let's not go that
well,
extreme.
and I'll put all my tools in there that I'm gonna take with me. Just some things that I think I'll need. Put some extra pieces of electro steel and a couple other things, side projects that I've been working on in my bag, and then put my bag in the cart and just get ready to head out.
You all
Simon's
gather.
heavy ass backpack with like 4 maces inside is in there too.
Yeah, the iron axe will go in there and
Yeah.
just a pile
Just
of
load up
weapons. Yeah.
You load up a bunch of random things onto this cart and start pulling it through out the gate. You notice that the barricade and the sort of the blockade that had been set up overnight seems to have cleared mostly. There's still a couple of iron guards as you kind of turn to your right to look up the street to where the salvage yard is. There's still a few cog guards that are posted over there, noticeably. But otherwise, you turn to the left and you start making your way back towards the bridge that you'd crossed yesterday, across to in the similar direction to where Lady Wobblefall's estate was.
Big one.
Oh, yes.
Do you think it's wise to go wearing your cape like that to Ward 4 with all of the trouble that's been brewing?
Oh, you are absolutely right. And I'll start taking it off and put it in my bag. I actually requested a cover up for this issue, but I think it's waiting for us at the Golden Anvil. So hopefully we won't have this problem. But you're probably right. I should probably pack this up.
Aye, because we want to avoid trouble.
Certainly, I couldn't agree more. And now, like, this is probably the first time everybody's seen like my arm like out in the sunlight.
What does it look like in the sunlight?
Yeah, it's like a lot more complex than you probably saw before. Like it has a bunch of like large pieces of electro steel on it, and then underneath, like you can tell there's like moving parts. Like it's not just one thing built to just be there as an arm. Like you've seen me in combat, so you've seen things like shift, but you can see all the intricate like wires underneath the elbow and a bunch of gears on the side. It's quite the contraption that you definitely haven't seen of my making. Like this is definitely built by somebody who knew what the hell they were doing, aka my father, and it's quite the sight to behold. And it's
You also definitely you notice like it's similar in design in a lot of ways to the device that you'd seen at Clanco's shop, like the backpack with the pipes connected to the armbands, and the gauntlets essentially, as well as being similar to what the elite guard of the artificers wear. It's just all seems more compacted. The pipes seem a little bit thinner, smaller, more like veins of sort. There's definitely some similar patterns of like shape and structure there.
Big one, this is beautiful craft on your arm.
Oh,
First time I noticed it. This was beautifully done. Metal was worked very smooth.
yes, I wish I could take credit for it, but this was actually my father's entire design. Normally I try and keep it hidden to avoid any questions from people that might be suspicious about it, but yes, it's wonderfully made and it's helped me quite a bit.
Is your father also a blacksmith? Like, the metal was very well crafted, very well smithed.
Oh, excuse me. I'm actually not sure if he did it himself. It was made during a difficult point in my life, and it just kind of just came to me. I'm not quite sure how he did it, but
Well, so you having worked with electrosteel, you know that there are magical ways to shape it in ways that you wouldn't necessarily need
smithing, yeah.
knowledge specifically in order to do it, in order to channel like arcane energy into it, and then shape it and mold it into the shape that you need to. So you gather that like similar processes were used. Like you built the professor
Yeah.
without being like particularly like focusing on your smithing
Sure.
skills, right? So
Yeah.
electrosteel is a special material for that.
And I was just literally about to say that, as I say, well, truthfully, electrosteel is a very special material, and I mean, you've seen my work on the professor. It has a quality about it that allows artificers to kind of shape the material in a way that is required. Um, I've actually noticed you attempting to do similar things, and I'm sure you'll get it. You're a phenomenal. I've seen your weaponry. You're a wonderful smith, but um, electrosteel requires a certain touch, and perhaps once we get to the anvil, I can maybe show you some little tricks.
Oh, I would love that.
Calter, can you check your messages?
There's invisible whispers happening.
Carry on.
We're just pulling the cart and making conversation, guys.
Yeah.
That's how we're doing.
Yeah. So, I'd be happy to. It's the least I can do.
I would love that, big one.
You see,
I've tried working this material and it's very tricky. Very.
yeah, most people think electrosteel is actually not the greatest material to use for certain things, but if you give it a little bit of the love it deserves, it can be quite useful.
I'm kind of used to use metal to hit things. I don't feel like electrosteel is the best material for that, and perhaps that's why I'm having trouble with it.
It has its perks, and maybe one day soon you'll learn what those are. It has its own uses. Certainly, I've worked with stone. I don't want to, toot my own horn, but I work with stone quite often. I mean, we passed over one of the bridges on the way to Mrs. Wobbleford's estate last night.
You're probably crossing over it again right now.
This bridge that we're walking on, this one actually, I actually helped craft. I'm quite the stones. I tend to enjoy working with stone. I mean, I built the shield that I wear here myself.
And this hammer that I'm borrowing.
Absolutely. And those are quite durable materials that do a certain task, but I still prefer electrosteel. It's quite a wondrous material.
So while they're walking and talking, I'm going to just kind of slowly make my way over to Arkmir. Just kind of like lean over and whisper. There's a possibility that we have been watched for the last day. I saw a crow at the Wobblefall estate, and I saw that crow again leaving Spark Eyes this morning. Um, I have not seen crows any of the other days we've been here, so just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Do I recall seeing any crows since my time in Schema?
Nope.
Interesting.
I mean, you also haven't really been looking. So.
Yeah.
Typically, you like to wet the stone before you just keep going down a conversation.
No, thank you, Cal. Thank you, Cal, for bringing that to my attention. Do you think it's that friend of ours, the one who who might be following us?
I mean, it's possible. There's a variety of different reasons why or how this crow or who it could be. We've seen people capable of manifesting creatures, Astra and Hoku. Perhaps it's just a total coincidence that there happens to be a crow following us around that has no purpose behind it whatsoever. I've also seen people be able to change shape and turn into animals. So any number of reasons. I have no idea who or what it is.
You can do me a favor. Can you tell me the next time you see the crow? 'Cause
Sure.
I'd like to say hi.
I'll do a quick 360.
Yeah.
Yeah, your head just turns around like an owl.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
Make a perception check.
oh man, just turned like bloodhound.
24.
Ooh.
As you look up and around, there are no birds in the sky at all, except for one. It's quite a ways up. Seems to be flying in almost like a wide. You follow it for a little bit. Flies in like a wide figure eight, almost seemingly above you all, roughly, but way far away. in
I
the
actually have
sky.
a question then, thinking about this right now. Do I recall seeing birds ever in Schema?
Nope.
Huh. Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'll just
no
kind
bird.
of look up and then just be like, actually, there's a possibility that that's it right up there. um, just kind of like just point up. It's probably the only bird up in the sky that you can see. Um, Come to think of it, I don't recall ever seeing another bird. I never really took note of it before.
You're right. Wait, that is strange, isn't it? Actually, yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna have to wait for him to, or that our bird friend to come down before I could say hi. Then, unless no, I don't think we could do that to Hoku.
So was it like really obviously making an 8 like this over and over?
I think if you watch it for a long enough period of time, you can tell it wasn't like a quick figure eight. It's staying in the general vicinity of where you are
Okay,
together. But it's like many, many hundreds of feet up above you.
sure.
You can just see it in the daylight because it's so strange up there.
Right.
So are we both just like
As you
standing
are
there?
also checking out the
We're
sky,
walking while just looking
as you are also checking out the sky, you do notice that a rain cloud has drifted out from Ward Ward 3, from the
Hmm,
sort of like crack in the wall.
So
And it seems to be drifting in your direction, almost towards Ward 1. So
hmm,
this bird will probably be swallowed up by the cloud in
sure.
probably a few hours.
It it might just mean nothing. It looked almost like it was flying in a figure 8 pattern. Um, Perhaps a friend from Ward 8 is trying to get our attention.
maybe. Regardless, let's keep an eye on our friend here.
Yep, just wanted to let you know.
As you make your way through the streets, you do eventually end up walking past the Wobblefall estate. And you can't help but notice that on the fence over here, there are now about 3 crows that are
Huh.
sitting scattered on the gate and around the gate. And all of them very clearly turn and look at you and keep their eyes locked as you walk past. It's uncanny. And all of you notice this. It's very immediately obvious.
Trying to remember.
I'm gonna use my awakened mind. If they're within 30 feet, I can talk to any creature as long as it understands one language, at least one language.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna look at the crows and be like, "What are you guys doing?"
None of your business.
That's rude.
Oh Jesus! Scared the crap out of me.
So actually, rewind just a little bit. I actually do remember when we were at the Wobblefall estate. Just before entering, I did cast a spell that allows me to detect magic presence. The crow that I saw there actually did give off a conjuration essence there.
Mm.
So something is manifesting these, or at least that crow.
Walk up to. Wait, how far are we from these crows? They're just like.
They're sitting
Right.
perched around the gate of the Wobblefall estate, and you're walking like past it, essentially. Like you're wheeling your cart past it, and you notice
Right.
them almost. You turned around to look at the estate because it's a familiar landmark that you went to yesterday, and you were immediately surprised to see these 3 crows just sitting perched on the gate, watching you.
Arkman just kind of walks up by, I guess, the closest crow to him, and I assume it's just staring at. Is the crow just staring at me?
One of the crows turns to you and stares in your eyes. Beady black eyes to beady black eyes.
Um. Well, see, if you want to come say hi, you know where to find me. You have your friends. I'll let you know, and until then, I'll be on my way. And then
You're
keep going.
such a mystery.
The 3
What?
crows
Big
caw
one.
at you and
Oh
Big
yes,
one.
remain
yes.
sitting there.
Was Astra and Arkmir, like, were they talking to the crows?
Astra's was in her head, so you wouldn't have been able to tell. Arkmir's was in person.
Like chirp, 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 chirp.
Yeah.
Was Arkmir talking to the crow over there?
I would say yes. It's a little peculiar, but he seems to have ways of communicating with apparently everybody. Perhaps he knows how to talk with birds.
Strange fellow.
Very strange, but also might be one of the smartest people I know.
You continue past the Wobblefall house, making your way along the streets towards the gate and the main street that leads you out into Ward 5. Um, the gate seems empty and open. There doesn't seem to be any heightened guard presence around it. There's just a couple of guards standing near the gate, similar to as they had been in the past. Nobody's really paying that much attention. The streets seem to be fairly hustling and bustling. As you exit and into Ward 5, you find yourself back in the Market Ward after a long time since you were last here. Uh, the streets are busy. There's shops and market stalls that are just teeming with people. See people of all kinds just purchasing and buying goods, loading them onto carts, moving about. It's loud and boisterous, crowded streets. You see shops that have been set up, carts of goods and boxes are being wheeled around. Seems pretty normal. Doesn't seem like anything as strange has happened as of late.
Hmm.
As you make your way west now, probably another hour or so to get through the ward. And as you start to approach the west end of the ward, closer to the Redcliffe Ledge, The atmosphere becomes less and less friendly, and it becomes quieter. It becomes less crowded. There's less openly set up stalls and shops. It just overall, you get a sense of nervousness. As you eventually come close to the narrow palisade wall that separates Ward 4 and Ward 5, you do find it manned by probably about half a dozen members of the Iron Cog. The gates are open, but it doesn't seem to be many people around at all. But there are guards, and they look at you and just seem to be like eyeing you, taking note of you as you approach and as you look to pass. As you're glancing through the gates as you make your way through, you see mostly empty streets. Obviously, like the rest of Ward 4, the streets themselves are narrower, the buildings themselves are closer together, they're built on top of each other, similar to the sort of northern half of Ward 4 that you have been to and spent a lot of time in. The southern half is overcrowded, uh, not very clean, but this area seems even less clean than any prior part of the street that you've been to. You notice just the streets just littered with garbage. You notice shards of broken bottles, metal scrap, other things, signs, boards. You can spot some potentially blood on one of the poles near the corner, which a light is lit up on. There's clearly been some sort of civil unrest around here. And scattered about as you're making your way through and looking at in all directions at the roads that kind of wind their way through these tightly built buildings. You see a handful of Iron Cog guards patrolling almost every street, always in pairs, and never out of view of the palisade itself, where atop these other guards are kind of looking over.
Do we pass any close to the Myrlar and Sons warehouse?
No, that was on the north side of the river. You're coming in from the south side of the river.
Okay.
You make your way through the sort of like rough cobblestone streets over here. You have to carefully watch your step and step around. But the cog and the guards don't seem to pay not much attention to you. It doesn't seem like the wards are closed. You do spot a handful of people leaving with almost like satchels on their back and just making their way to the gate between Ward 4 and Ward 5. Traffic doesn't seem to be shut down. It just seems it's like the aftermath of a riot in some ways.
Excuse me, miss?
Yes?
Yeah?
She turns to you and
Oh,
she's
sorry.
like a little bit mousy hair. She's got like a satchel on. She's got a little child who's the hand she's holding and who's making her way over towards the gate coming in your direction.
Pardon my intermission, but what's going on? I don't see many people on the streets and you seem to believe it.
It's dangerous over here. Most people are staying inside. I have to take my daughter to her training class over in Ward 6 for tomorrow.
Why is it
We're probably
dangerous?
going to stay there for the night. Well, she looks around. And she's like, "It's none of my business," and she's just like starts walking.
Perhaps we should stay close and try and get through this as quick as possible.
She seems scared of something or someone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it could be the cogs?
The cogs
That'd be
usually
odd.
the cogs usually don't strike fear in people. They're merely peacekeepers. Or have been.
It seems strange.
Something's definitely not right.
Is there like anybody around who's like lingering who does not look afraid or anything? Is just like hanging out?
Make
Like,
another
like
perception
is
check.
Galaran in front of us anywhere? Or...
Yeah.
Or like Death
Blonde
Knight.
hair flowing
Yeah.
in the wind.
Yeah, they just got like
15.
Kind of hard to tell. There's probably you do notice shadows kind of moving in the alleyways. You notice people will like you notice some of the windows like being opened and like people looking out through it, peering out, and then closing it. There's definitely people around, but there doesn't seem to be anybody. There's not that many people in the streets, not visibly at least, except for the Iron Cog. Like they're walking about, seemingly in force.
Big one. I'm not sure how familiar you are with this world, but is it always like this?
I mean, I haven't been here too many times, but in the few times that I did pass through, it didn't seem like this. It was at least people in the streets living normally. Like, this definitely seems out of place.
We should keep our eyes open for any danger. And Time's gonna look around to see if there's anybody following or any sign of, anyone hostile around.
Make a perception check.
I'm actually going to use this not trolling. Does anything smell out of place? And I mean that in the sense of, like, does it smell anything similar to what I would have smelled at Fado's or anything?
Make a perception check.
For Timon.
Yeah.
4?
What did you get, Diamond?
6.
I mean, there doesn't seem to be that many people on the streets. There's nobody following you.
And I got a 14 for smell.
The ward generally tends to have a little bit of a smell of overcrowdedness, of mustiness around it. So you smell that. You smell some like alcohol that seems to have been either spilled or just on the
That's
air.
just Diamond.
That's normal.
Yeah, might be.
Nothing like
Just-
nothing like blood or like
Well, there
obviously
was
aside
some
from the blood, but like
obviously,
a large
It's
amount.
not like a large
Okay,
amount
okay,
in order
that's
to
fine.
overpower the general sense of everything.
Sure, no, that makes sense.
You do smell the rain coming in and the clouds as they come up over you. You look up and the clouds. Now that you're actually in one of these artificially generated sort of like magical rainstorms, you look up and the sky is like this dark, almost like a dark violet-ish cloud. It's not like any cloud that you've normally seen.
Oh,
And it's just slowly covering the entirety of like this ward, but it seems to be petering out. And it seems to be moving further past Ward 4.
Timond, while we're keeping an eye out, my trunk's getting stiff, and that means it's about to rain.
Oh.
That's what it means.
That's the
Wow.
that's the saying, right? When your trunk gets stiff, it's about to rain.
Oh, big lad, I don't think it's quite like that.
Oh well,
Gotta put that on a t-shirt.
I think it's
Yeah.
gonna rain. And I'll point to the
Probably one of
cloud.
our t-shirts for sure.
But he says it without laughing, like he was serious.
Timon's laughing. Oh, lad, you didn't get out from home much when you were a kid,
Oh,
did ya?
I had a great life with my father inside.
I can tell.
You guys, I think we should stick together and probably get a move on. Everybody, come on, grab a travel buddy. Let's hold hands. We'll all form a line. We'll go together. I grab Timon's hand and I hold on to Big One's trunk. Okay, like Arkmir,
That just got
Healthier,
stiff.
grab
You
a-
would
That's
hold
stiff
on to it.
trunk.
No, I fully thought you were gonna say you're already in the frickin' cart. I was like, did this get a little heavier? It's
Nope.
already in there.
Let's go, guys.
Oh, okay.
Healthier, Arkmir. Hold hands.
Oh, lass, I need my other hand to pull the cart.
You just got your hand. Just keep going.
All right.
You begin to wheel the cart through the sort of like main artery that leads through Ward 4 towards the bridge and towards the river, as well as the entrance beside the river that leads into the underground, into the caverns of Ward 3. It's probably around mid-afternoon when you make your way to the ledge itself, and it's for those of you who haven't been here, it's a striking visual. Really, it's almost like a giant crack of sorts that seems to be stretching from the very top of this 600-foot cliff, and it's been making its way down to the base, where it widens wide enough for both the river, the Briskbeam River that flows into it, flows out of it, as well as the two side paths that are built along the bank of the river itself. The red sort of like stone here, and as you look up, you can see that the cloud, having drifted past, well past this part, you can see like the sun beginning to peek back through from the top of the mountain. This winding dirt path that leads kind of bordering the Briskbeam River. You step into the caverns, and the light of the sun seems to almost slowly fade away behind you. On the walls of the cavern, there are these similar to the sort of like light posts and lamp posts that you've seen throughout the rest of Schema, particularly in Ward 1. There's these embedded, almost like light sconces scattered along the wall that seem to be letting out this like flickering yellow light. In places, this path, as you follow it, dips away from the river and into some tunnels where you can't see much, and then coming back and rejoining the river. At a certain point, there's a bridge across the river that you cross and end up on this one singular path on the north side of the river. The flickering yellow lights that light up the darkness, the cavern ceilings and walls look slick with condensation, and it reflects off them, almost glimmering like stars up in the distance up above you. It's
How tall
cooler,
is the cavern?
probably about 100 feet.
Ooh, very
Okay,
tall.
it's very tall. But occasionally, as it dips into these tunnels off to the side, they become much narrower, probably just wide enough for maybe 2 carts at most to travel. And the bridge is probably only wide enough for a couple of carts as you cross over to get to the north side.
Is the cavern naturally formed, or was it like constructed by the people here? Like they carved it out.
Make a nature check.
Am I good at that?
I actually did it all myself. Would have been way ahead of my time.
13.
It looks like a combination of both. There are parts of it that look naturally carved. There are parts of it that look man-made. There's parts of it that look much newer than other parts, like the bridge and the pathway seem a little bit newer than the rest of the tunnels. The river, like canyon itself, seems fairly well like shaped. Like it looks definitely like it was constructed. It's very firm, like sharp angles, like straight line almost. Looks very man-made. But the walls and the ceiling up above you definitely look natural. The dirt path itself that you're walking on seems to be lined with stone and rope fences, like stone posts connected with rope fences to prevent accidents and prevent anybody from slipping and falling into the river. And because of all the sort of like condensation from the river and from the water, everything's a little bit cooler, a little bit more wet and dripping. There's definitely stalactites in the ceiling that are sort of like occasionally drip in front of you or in your path, and it feels like you're walking like this is a bit of a deep cut. Anybody who's been to Niagara Falls and been through the journey behind the falls, that's basically kind of what this tunnel feels like. A very, very Canadian deep cut. Eventually, probably.
Are we still in Ward 5 or sorry, in Ward 4, or are we already in Ward 3 at this point?
It depends on what you qualify as the border between Ward 3 and Ward 4.
We're approaching the...
You're approaching Ward 3. There's a little bit of a pathway like through the tunnels in order to get to Ward 3 proper.
Got it, okay.
Yep. The ground itself, in order to prevent people from falling, there's like this dirt and stone scraps that have been scattered across the ground to make it less slick, but leaving behind like a little film of dirt and mud on all of your shoes. But eventually, a solid 10 or 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes of walking along this sort of winding path. And you find yourself on a large underground cavern, much larger than any of the tunnels that you've been walking through, and just larger than possibly any cavern that any of you, except for Timon, have ever been in. To your left, the cavern stretches as far as you can see. You can't even make out the end of it. And you are standing at the northern shore of what looks like a giant lake of sorts.
As we're going, do we still see the streets pretty much empty, or do we cross too many patrols?
As
Like,
you
I'm
got-
curious if there's anybody that I could ask again.
As you got closer to sort of like away from Ward 5 and closer to the heart of Ward 4, there were more people about, but most of them, when they saw you, kind of like shirked away. They didn't really feel like talking right now. I think you would have noticed like a presence of like, okay, you would see people up in the streets, and then as you would approach, they would like duck into alleyways or into houses.
So is this place different from what Arkmir and Big One have already seen?
No,
we've
you've
been
been
here.
down
Yep.
this exact path before.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
just
okay,
describing
so-
it much more this time around than I was that session, because there was a lot more stuff to do in that session.
Okay.
That session's also not online yet.
Also that, yes.
Oh, it's
Um,
online.
Oh, it's online, but not online. It's on our only.
But yeah, you find yourself on the northern shore of this underground, like covered lake, and the ceiling over here of the cavern, again, like the same way that you can't see the like southern edge of the cavern, you can't see the ceiling almost. It's lit, so you can see it from down below as the light from the houses and the sort of lamppost here. You'd find yourself on the edge of Ward 3 proper. These like large, mostly stone and brick built structures, many houses just scattered about in rows and streets. A lot of these lampposts that are set up. As you look up towards the ceiling, you do see kind of like a small, like almost like a layer of smog and smoke that seems to be clouding the ceiling up above you. It's like past 100 to 150 feet above you. You can't make out the ceiling essentially. As you look down the shore of the underground lake, past several buildings, like large buildings that are scattered about, you can make out way off in the distance a large, probably like almost 80, 90 feet tall structure that seems to be built on the shore of the lake itself. It's like cylindrical. It towers over everything else in the ward. Large cylindrical water tank, like large squarish, like factory type thing that's built beside it. It's immediately noticeable and stands out from the rest of the ward. There's also a lot of foot traffic. Almost as soon as you enter into this ward, running around the plaza, running around from shop to shop. There's a perpetual sound of hammering and clanking. It's hard to avoid, especially with the echoes of the cave itself. It's loud and very noticeable. Walking through the hard dirt path through this ward, through these streets and these tighter alleys, you just have the sense of constant humming and production. It feels like this ward is the like true industrial center that keeps the rest of the city running in many ways.
Simon feels very, very at home in this environment. Like, he has a smile on his face as he crosses through the ward and is looking around and just taking everything in. And it's like, this reminds me so much of back home. I mean, probably a little more lit, and buildings are a little prettier, but
it's strange. It's a lot more humid than any of the tunnels back in Europe, like in Cornwall were. Which is strange because that also means it's a lot less hot, but it feels a lot hotter. it's this weird feeling because you've been in like the forges of Cornhall and the blacksmiths and all of that area, and it's much more like scorching direct heat. But for some reason, you're just sweating a lot just pushing the cart through here.
I mean, this rat's nest of a town is so freaking hot all the time. I've been sweating balls over here ever since I arrived like a few weeks ago. But this reminds me of the market district, the lower market district back in Cornhall. The sounds of the clanging, like the competing blacksmiths. This is great.
Arriving in the sort of like open plaza near the center of Ward 3. What are you guys doing?
I was looking around for like what kinds of business he can see. He's particularly interested in spotting any kind of blacksmiths that may be in eyesight.
You see a lot of like a lot of different businesses. It's hard to make out really. There's a bunch of barrel makers and packers. There's a bunch of stone crafters, stone masons. You notice somebody carrying you notice a giant construct just wheeling like a cart of like cut stone, almost like boxes of stone for building. There's a quarry that you pass by where they're working on like shaping clay. There's an immensely hot building that you pass by where they're making glass. It's all sorts of different things. But no particular blacksmiths in this region, but Arkmir and the big one. You know where a lot of the blacksmiths in this ward tend to work. There's a street that's known as Blacksmith Row. And I'm assuming that's the way that you are headed in order to get to the Golden Anvil that you have been to before.
I'd also kind of like be pointing things out as we kind of like descend into this area, like, oh, that's the area over there. That's the climatology zone, and I point at the blacksmith row. We also have a couple of taverns and local areas we could check out for lodging, such as the Mushroom Lounge or the Brickstone Brew Pub and Board, which Timon I'm sure you'll get quite familiar with for our time here. And I'll just kind of like be pointing things out.
You also, as you're walking and as he's pointing out, you notice a large barrel of, it seems like barrels of water that are being shipped from the lake, and somebody's pulling them up, and they kind of like get stuck behind your cart for a little bit, get annoyed, and then kind of like turn off into a different pathway. As you follow them over to your right, you notice a sign that says Zeph's Brewery that they're wheeling these barrels over into.
What's it called again? Sorry.
Zeph Brewery.
Like with an F?
ZEPH.
Oh, they're cool.
It's just water?
It's called a brewery, so probably not.
Oh,
There are barrels of what
I mean, it's Schema.
some sort of barrels that are being wheeled over in that general direction.
Yeah. Ash is like,
but
oh, water.
It stands
pub.
out to you. It stands out to you in particular, Timon. As you walk past, you notice that there is probably a very sizable brewery over here.
Lots of things to explore.
I like this area of the city.
I'm sure you'll feel quite at home actually over the next course of, well, however long it takes us, really.
I mean, this is an impressive cavern. I see like this lake. I haven't seen a lake in this big inside of a cavern before. We do have our water supplies in Cornwall, but they're mostly rivers from the snow caps that melt from time to time, and the cavern here is not as big as Cornwall, but it's pretty big.
Oh, I hopefully one day we'll see that cavern. I would love to see it for myself, but well, this cavern has quite the importance on the city. And yeah, I'm glad you enjoy it.
In what way?
Oh well, and I'll point back to the I'm assuming we can see the climatology thing. That's what you said, right?
You can see it from pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah.
just it towers
Yeah.
like almost 80 feet over the rest of the buildings around it.
Well, arguably, this is one of the more important wards, if not the most important. The building over there that you can see is actually the climatology zone and area, and we actually supply rain clouds to the city from here. As you might have noticed on your travels here, we don't really get typical storms around this area, as we've come to find out. But we do produce our own rain clouds to the different wards from this very building.
So that weird purple cloud that we saw earlier came from that thing.
DM, yes?
Yes.
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 Perhaps we go there at some point and have a conversation. I know we had talked about seeing if it was possible to get more rain down in Ward 8.
Well,
That
we can
Aye.
certainly try. Damn it. But we could definitely explore that opportunity, although I'm sure a number of folk have already attempted that.
have they though? Doesn't feel like they put a lot of effort into Ward 8. They just left them to rot. How could they do that?
Not quite sure, to be honest, but perhaps speaking with them, we might be able to get some answers.
Chief Halfstep, she seems like a good-hearted person. Why would they leave Ward 8 to rot like that? That doesn't seem right. There's
Uh,
people suffering.
DM, Half Step wouldn't have been the only person in power during like Ward 8.
Ward 8 was so what you know already is that Ward 8 was built by and at the directive of Chief Halfstep.
Oh,
like,
okay,
the Chief
okay.
Engineer Halfstep.
Okay.
She was the one who was campaigning for it.
Yep.
It was what she got elected on. It got built. It got turned on. It got turned immediately off.
Yeah.
Those are all things that you know.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure. It seems like there's other things at play here that may have had an impact of why the people in Ward 8 are suffering. And unfortunately, I'm not sure that Miss Halfstep could even do anything about it, but I'm not entirely sure.
Which is Chief Engineer.
It's true, but if she was capable of all of that, I feel like we wouldn't be in this conflict that's happening right now and the unrest that's clearly spreading to other parts of the city.
I agree with Caltier. I think we need to go there at some point. Ask some questions.
Caltier, as you're looking at the building in particular, you do notice one thing, which probably nobody else around you might have noticed or cared. There is no spire in this ward. The cable that runs in through the tunnel from the prime conduit spire seems to go directly to the climatology bureau building.
Well, perhaps we can venture to the climatology building at some point, whether today or on future days here, but we actually aren't much further to Blacksmith's Row, which I believe is where the Golden Anvil is.
Yep. While you're walking, Caltier, also, since you're looking around and you have such a high passive perception, you notice a bulletin board that's kind of set up along one of these walls. You do notice a sign on there that says Lyra Lovelace performing at the Mushroom Lounge every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, essentially.
Wait, what? They have the same days?
It says her stint at the Mushroom Lounge is approaching its climactic ending soon. Be sure not to miss out.
Hey,
It's just like a poster that seems to be stuck up.
Hey, Akmir. That looks like a familiar name.
It definitely does.
Appears her time at the Mushroom Lounge may be coming to an end. Might be, if we want to talk to her, might want to do that sooner rather than later.
Sooner the better.
Yeah.
What day is it today, actually?
Thursday.
Thursday? I
It's
messed up.
not Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Whatever those equivalent days are. I do need to come up with day names for the week. Not for sure yet. That is something I will write down in my to-do list.
When did you say was the climactic?
Well, today is
ending?
bluff
It
day.
doesn't say.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
It just says her run at the Mushroom Lounge is coming to its climactic conclusion. Don't miss out. Buy your tickets now. So on and so forth.
Coming to its climatic.
Climactic.
Okay. Climactic.
I need to come
This
up with
is
day
Astra
and month
like
names.
talking to herself.
Oh, it looks like Lyra's about to climax. Moving on.
Continuing.
big lad, calm your stiff trunk, will ya?
We were all thinking it.
God damn.
Do I see are the crows or crow? Are they any of them still following us?
Make a perception check.
That's a great question.
No, right, yeah. I always forget that's still wisdom. Doesn't help. That's an 8.
Nice.
Nope. You don't see anything. You look up. You look about. There is a thick layer of like smog and smoke up above you, so it's kind of hard to make out just in general. But there doesn't seem to be anything. As you make your way down to the alleyway that you, Arkmir, and the big one recognize as being Blacksmith Row, you turn the corner and it's incredibly hot in this part of the ward. It's built up almost near the edge of one of the like cavern walls. It's hot and humid and all sorts of like it's almost unbearable as you turn here. But you hear the noise of hammers going. You find yourself in an alleyway of almost like anywhere from 8 to a dozen shops scattered about, of varying shapes. Some of them are larger, some are smaller. They all have larger, sort of like fenced-in areas where there might be a forge outside. Some of the forges might be inside covered. You notice the golden anvil is one of the first few that's on your right, and as you come to it, you definitely notice that that this forge and shop is closed. There's a sort of like a chain that's been put up around the gate. There's a lock on it. There's also a few boxes of goods that are parked in front of it. You have no idea what there are, but there appear to be at least 2 large barrels of something.
I start running towards them.
As you also look down the street, the rest of the street is fairly empty, but you do make out a figure in the distance that seems to be walking in your direction, actually, just across from the other end of the street.
Is it a giant
Fine. No, it looks like a friendly green-skinned half-orc with handlebar mustache, yellow, bright yellow dress shirt. He looks a little worse for wear. Definitely looking a little bit more unkempt than the last time you saw him. But you do recognize Alistair, and he looks at you with a little bit of a raised eyebrow. He's coming down the street from the opposite end.
I'm just
I'm
walking to
yeah. For you around here.
Alistair. What are you doing here?
Alistair. Well, I'm eating like 4 apples.
I figure I could ask the same. I wasn't expecting y'all to be skulking around these areas.
Going
Wow.
around.
And I run and I give him a hug.
Hi, Miss Astra. Just kind of looking around. Like, let's head out into somewhere away from prying eyes.
Why don't you take a step into our shop?
Welcome.
I mean, the gate is chained. You can't actually get in.
I was gonna
Oh,
try
we can get
to.
it.
Oh wait, is there a lock?
I rip it
Yes,
off.
there is a
that.
lock.
I rip it off. Oh well, we are now the
Make a
proud
strength check.
the proud owners of this shop for the time being. And I'll rip it off.
One of my early interactions with Big One.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Not super high, but strength, you say? That would be a 16.
You grab the chain and you try to pull it, and like the gate begins to bend a little, but it's not. The lock isn't. The chain isn't
so I'll be
breaking
like,
that
we are now the
easily.
proud owners for the time being. It seems we need a key.
Did they provide a key when we were given this location?
I think I have the key right here, and then he grabs his hammer and move away,
Arthur just
big
walks
one.
up to the lock now and gets kind of in the way there. I'm just gonna try and pick the lock.
Too late. I'm already going for the hit.
Well, you're trying to pick it. He's trying to hit it. Both of you roll your checks. You can roll your thieves too.
And while they're doing that, I'm
going
gonna
to
look if there's like a note or anything on the stuff they left saying, "Here's a key." I doubt they would leave a
Feels
key, but
There is an envelope that's placed like hidden underneath one of the bushels of apples actually, and it's like very heavy. So you have to like almost push it out of the way, and it's a bit of a struggle.
This feels like Vox Machina, like facing a door.
What do
Or
you
for the
add for a
ultimate
thieves'
thing.
tool check?
Proficiency in
dexterity
dexterity?
proficiency, yeah.
dexterity.
And then
I
I'll
rolled
start.
a 25.
Oh, jeez.
I am also 25, actually.
Oh!
Oh.
Right as you unlock it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you unlock it, and as soon as it clicks open, the lock just gets the chain just gets.
Archmail's like, I got it. And I'm gonna open the
chain
letter.
falls off in a couple of pieces. So the letter on the inside, there is no key.
Oh, okay.
But it does say included. There's almost all of the things that you requested. There are the bushels of apple, the barrel of potatoes, the black cloak, as well. Unfortunately, was unable to secure any iron. The iron cog have put it under lockdown, especially the prospect of transporting it through Ward 4 would have been very dangerous.
Oh, that makes
Is
sense.
there any in our cart?
Our cart is
Our
iron.
cart is made of it.
Cart is made of iron.
Okay.
Like
All those
entirely too.
potatoes are y'all starting a brewery?
Oh, we're actually on a bit of a mission.
What do you know about brewing, Mr. Gold?
That got
I'd
us
like to
back
do
on
a bit of
track.
that.
He actually made something if you'd like to try it.
Sure, that sounds mighty fine. Y'all going into business making hooch?
Oh no, it's just something that. Here you go.
Just
It's
give it a
not
try
my
first.
not my proudest brew, but give it a try.
Do I make a
Chunky.
Constitution saving throw?
Yes.
Yeah,
make a Constitution saving
it
throw
is
to see if you
potato-y
keep
and
it down.
chunky.
All right, come on.
And he's gone.
Well, it seems
12.
You have a hard time keeping it down. You spit it out. It's gotten worse with age, not better. And it doesn't taste very good at all.
I like the way the fuzz tickles my nose.
Oh God, that's disgusting.
Perhaps I should stop offering this. I wasn't in my best element when I brewed this, and I was missing a few ingredients. We were just staying at the big one's place, but I have grand plans for this amount of potatoes, and I think I have all the ingredients now.
I'm sure you just needed the right facilities.
As you push open the gate now that the chain has been broken and the lock has been picked, you make your way into this almost like a small sort of front yard. The door on the inside of the actual house is also locked.
Perhaps I should.
We might want to keep the door intact.
Delicate approach to this.
We do need to keep our stuff safe in here, so perhaps
there
the
like
door is useful.
Is there like a lawn gnome or like a stone put somewhere that just looks out of place that I can just look under? See if they put like a little door under or under the mat.
Make a perception check or an investigation check. Actually, an investigation check.
Good. I was going to do investigation under the options anyway.
While they're doing this, the big one's just going to start carrying some of the supplies into the actual area.
19.
Arthur's also just gonna walk up and start trying to pick the lock again.
You notice that one of the towards the right of the door, there isn't like a lawn gnome or anything, but there is like almost like a barrel of just odds and ends, all sorts of like tools and hammers and poking like prods and just in general like some leftovers scattered about building maintenance tools. As you're looking through it, at the very bottom, underneath a few things, you do find a key, a ring of keys that seems to have been hidden there.
Well, Arkman, maybe this will help you get that door open. Hand him the ring of keys.
Just like throw it away.
Fuck that.
Go get it.
How it is.
You pop open. It takes you a couple of seconds to find the right key. You pop it open and unlock it. And the door swings open, and you find yourself in a small shop, roughly speaking. There's like a small counter. There's the doors that open up in the back. The place looks like it's been tossed, to be honest. There's scattered about, like, the carpet that would be leading up to the counter is all askew. One of the like shelves seems to have been tipped over. There's like parchment and cloths just scattered everywhere. The desks of the counter itself are open and empty. Doesn't look like whoever left here with an intent of
Leaving.
coming back, or whoever
staying,
was
sorry.
last here left it behind in a bit of a bad state.
Any signs of forced entry other than, the hammer against the iron chain in the front gate?
No, not really. Like, the door was locked. It seemed like it was in fine shape. The lock doesn't seem like it had been tampered with.
Any windows?
Make an investigation check.
12. I think. Wait. Investigation. Nope. 9.
9.
There aren't any windows in the front room anyway, but as you like open and lean out and look into the back room where there's like a lot of like the workstations that are set up, there's like a small stairway that leads upstairs to whatever sleeping or bed chambers would be up there. The window that looks out into like the back area where the forge and the anvil and stuff have been set up, that seems to be open.
Is there like a layer of dust around the place that? Because I'm wondering if there's any like
Oh yeah.
The
tracks
window's
or
open.
anything.
That's what you make
Just
out
for
with a 9.
clarity, like player talk, like 2 episodes ago or something, we told you guys about the golden anvil that it was like seized by like the guy couldn't pay for shit. So it wasn't like it wasn't like, I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not saying you like to change what you're doing, but we would have made it known to everybody that like this was not he didn't lose
It's hard.
it because he was taken. He didn't pay for shit.
It's hard to make out whether there's any dirt on the ground or not. That seems like oddly disturbed. Not with what you can see and what you can make out.
Okay.
The window's open.
Somebody did a number on this place.
Mm.
I'm gonna head out and help the big one to bring in the supplies.
As Arkman just kind of start trying to put things back in their place, like lift up that shelf and closing some cabinets just to give this place make it a little more homely.
We're going to need to clean this place up quite a bit if we're going to use it for any kind of work. So I will set my stuff over somewhere, and I'm going to start cleaning up some of the major stuff that's out and around.
Yeah, I don't know where Alistair, where you went while people were moving in, but as if you're still outside, while I'm carrying one of the bushels of apples, which apparently is like 500 apples. It's like, Mr. Alistair, what brings you to this part of town?
Well, I was keeping an eye on our friends from the other day.
Ooh.
By the way, did y'all end up making it over to Sophistication?
Oh, well, I didn't. I was very tired that night, but I believe Arkmir, Asher, and Kelthir had a great time there, from what I understand.
You guys talking about
All right.
Sophistication? That place is
Yeah.
awesome. So cool. Your friends Cletus and Butch, class acts.
I'm glad to hear it. Did y'all end up meeting up with Geraldo?
We did.
We did. We received your
All
gift.
right. Perfect. Which one of you ended up making use of it?
I was pointing out. I guess Timon's outside, so I'm just pointing out there. Well, then.
It's coming in with the goods, and then
potato
as
sack.
as he drops, he turns around and you see the rifle slung across his back and with the scope attached to the rifle.
Mighty nice. Well, I guess Geraldo probably gave you all a heads up about what I was up to, at least to a minor extent.
He
Mm,
mentioned, 1 second.
Traveling shows or something? The menagerie?
Well, that's what Geraldo and crew are doing. But I believe you
Okay.
were going, taking a look into our friend that we met at the one Miralar warehouse there.
Yeah. So after the encounter at the warehouse, I decided I should probably go back and follow that stupid fellow that I got to go buy some pastries. See where he slunk back to afterwards, because
Oh yeah.
Galerin gave us a slip. And well, I ended up following around through quite a few wards. He ducked into what seemed like some sort of safe house in Ward 5 with his box of pastries, and so I just kind of staked out the area. A couple folks came and went, but no sign of Galerin. So following morning, there's a whole crew of guys that ended up leaving, like a dozen or so. Followed them around. They went to Ward 8.
No.
Sorry. I was expecting they'd go to Ward 8, but instead
Yes.
of that, they made their way over to Ward 4 and then into Ward 3. Kept following along. They ducked into Black Eye's Forge and didn't see him come out.
Oh, did you say Black Eye's Forge?
Yeah.
Arkbeer, I believe we had a run-in with Mr. Black Eye the first day we met.
did. He didn't. He was a peculiar fellow too. He didn't seem to want to help us, at least immediately, if I
He,
recall that correctly.
he seemed a little agitated about something as well. Huh.
Hmm.
Do you know Black Eye?
Um, I mean, we had a very pleasant conversation aside from the fact of him not wanting to help us, but other than that, I don't know the man personally. I just know of his works.
All right. Well, I got a suspicion that they may have dipped into a hidden tunnel or something like that nearby. But
Oh,
if once they gave me the slip, I wasn't chasing them down much further than that. Because I mean, there's 12 of them, one of me.
I've seen what you're
Odds look like they've
capable of.
evened out a little bit more now, though.
Do you think
Hmm.
do you think this black eye fellow is working with the working with the silent razors then?
I wouldn't presume to know, but if there's any information he could give on whereabouts I could locate them outside of chasing them down the the particular hole they went down, then I feel like I need to go follow that up, because that Galerin guy is a bad apple.
I really don't mean to keep bringing this up, but it seems you've all keep mentioning a warehouse and some man named Galerin, and I don't really know what you're referring to. Perhaps this would be a good opportunity. Is everybody feeling okay?
We're good.
Is he all right?
I'm perfectly. I mean, I have 2 bushels of apples now. I feel great.
He remembers nothing of that night.
What do you mean by not remember?
There was the warehouse, there was a big fire explosion, there was Galerin, his stupid hair was really stupid and I hated it and it was dumb. And then you forgot the whole thing. Anytime we
Hmm.
mention like the explosion, you're like, huh, explosion, what? What?
Interesting. Huh.
Do you think it's like a form of like a post-traumatic stress because of your, you know,
Oh. Oh, maybe. Then you'll see
like,
the big one just turn around and go back to outside to pick
wait,
more
what?
stuff up.
Oh, I'm so big one. I
Alistair,
just
what exactly is your
said
plan
that.
here? Uh-oh.
Oh.
Is that why
Got
you're
him.
Just-
He's frozen.
Got him.
I was pausing. I was dramatically pausing.
That's a. There
So,
you go.
It was just very happy.
Yeah.
What is your
Yeah.
plan? That's like a pretty sinister.
Yeah.
It's like, hey.
Just lost in thought, like
Yeah.
smiling creepily.
I mean, I just need to make sure that Galerin doesn't get any sort of message out of the city back towards where we both come from. It's extremely important.
As Timon comes back and puts like a couple more boxes of stuff on the ground. So from the bits and pieces I've heard you speaking, you mentioned that they went into a tunnel or a hole. What makes you think that, or did they go inside of a blacksmith shop?
And they went inside the shop. I didn't see him come back out through the front, even though I'd posted out in front of it. And after long enough, I started scouting around the perimeter and saw like a sewer grate sort of thing. And that's as near as I can tell the only thing that they could have gone down. But beyond going in and talking to Black Eye himself, I'm short of ideas on where to follow up next. And it's mighty important that I figure out where they went to.
I mean, they must be collaborating with one of these smiths to be producing this kind of weapon and material. And then I pick up the large war
What are the
axe.
4 axles from your cart?
No, one of the 4 maces,
Yeah.
but I do
Uh,
have the large
The,
One of
the
the 2
ogre
large
axe. The
axes.
ogre axe. Yeah.
the 2 ogre axes. Someone is making this for them. Not sure if with intent to get rich or not die, but probably this Black Eye.
Yep, Black Eye.
Black Eye guy. He might be involved. Might be good to ask him some questions.
I believe his name is Faznorg. Is that right?
That's
Is it?
Nog.
As Nog.
That's Nog. Yeah.
Faznorg. There.
That's Nog Black Eye.
That's Nog. All right.
Were you coming from there right now? Is that where you were coming from when we ran into you?
Yeah, I was gonna make my way over there and see if I could get some answers out of him, or at least a little bit of a hint. Any of y'all feel like following up with me, but wouldn't mind the company?
I can be of assistance.
Perfect.
I'm always
I
willing
would
to help
love
out.
so much.
Any more information on this Galerin fellow may help more than just yourself. Yeah, there's others who may be looking for him.
That's true. All right, let's make our way over.
Moving the last few boxes of goods, and it's probably like a box of flux that you're moving and
Yep.
putting next to the dry forge. And
Before we leave, though, one more thing, Mr. Gold. I think this Gallerant fellow was in action in World 1 as well. There was a shed of salvage yard that exploded yesterday morning. Seems to have been a similar sort of alchemical contraption used in the warehouse.
Well, that's troublesome. I don't know what Midnight Core would be doing making itself so known out here.
We've heard that name a couple times now, but I haven't really had a chance to ask anyone about it. Midnight Core, was that a group that operates independently of the Silent Races, or is it an alternative name for them?
The best way to think about them is they're special forces out of Rio Viz.
Oh boy.
They're known for some mighty sketchy tactics when it comes to engaging with what they perceive to be enemies. Their definition of enemies is pretty lax as well.
they were somehow a part of or affiliated with the Alabaster Guard in Rovis?
Yeah, so to give y'all a little bit of context, the Alabaster Guard is the name of the Riovisian military or navy. The Midnight Guard is essentially a special action group inside of it.
Interesting.
And this Galarin fellow is one of them?
At the very least, he managed to get a hold of the shield, weapons, and satchel charges from a member of the Midnight Corps, but definitely looks the part.
So they're a mercenary group.
Not necessarily. I think there's a bit of history with the Midnight Guard and some things that went down in Rio Viz a number of years back when I was a younger man. I think they may still be looking to even old scores.
The Midnight Corps are very much like nationally affiliated military group, not independent mercenary group from Riovis.
Oh. Interesting.
And is it common for them to operate outside of Rovis?
I mean, it's been a while since I dealt with them directly, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were sent here by their commander for particular purposes, and that's a big reason why I'm looking to stop them from getting a message out back.
If they would operate out of other cities, they wouldn't make it known, is what Alistair would know.
How many of them do you think are here?
I mean, it could just be Galarin himself, and he's just looked to hire a couple local mercenaries to back him up. They're not short on funding on account of being a military unit.
Perhaps we should make our way to Black Eye's shop before they leave and we get no answers.
Sure.
Aye. Travel lightly and bring your weapons.
Who would like to be in charge of the key for the workshop? I mean, I certainly can do it.
Doesn't matter to me.
Arkmir, you
These
seem to
keys.
like keys. Oh.
As you lock the door of the golden animal behind you and step out, there's no lock on the gate, so you leave the gate open. You pull off the sign that says closed.
Got a
and
place.
You start making your way up the street towards Black Eye's Forge. It's a good time for us to take a break.
Oh boy. Going into the belly of the beast.
All right.
All right. We'll see you back here in 5-ish.
Bye bye.
Hello. And welcome back. So, as the Iron Will make their way up the street towards the very end of the street, where Blacksmith Row seems to end, and kind of head out on the right towards the rest of the ward. You approach this larger smithy, probably one of the largest around. And the gate, there seems to be like a large stone fence in front. There's a gate that's made of iron, and there's a large, like stone, almost like plate that's put up in front, like hanging over it, that says closed.
Well, it seems
Well,
seems
there
like
goes that
he's not in
plan.
business.
is there like a window or something you can I can peek in?
The gate itself is barred, so you can look through that.
Um,
You just see probably like 20-30 feet back from the fence. There's the front of a large smithy. There's like a large window. The curtains seem to be drawn across it. Um, there does seem to be smoke coming from the chimney up above, but there's no noise. No, doesn't seem like any. Doesn't seem to be an operation.
Are the bars, are they locked by just like a chain and lock? Is that
I
what
was
it is?
gonna ask.
Yeah, it seems like there's like a chain that's scattered across. Actually, no. This gate would have a built-in like lock, like a gate.
Poku, go knock on the door, and he's gonna and like tap on the front door,
Hoku flies
and then
off,
come back.
taps on the front door, comes back. A few moments pass, and the door opens. Somebody looks outside, looks back to back. It seems like a really brawny fellow, like a round, um, almost like buzz cut hair. Looks out, looks at you all through the gates. Shop's closed. Closes the door.
Wait. Did he go back in?
Yeah, he closed the door.
And I was just picturing Calthier looking around for things to like lift up and see if there's a key for some reason.
And the yard
See
no.
what I hear?
Appears your friend
Well,
here, Black Eye, doesn't want any company.
Poku, do it again.
I don't think we're gonna convince him to just let us in from here.
I'll turn to Alistair. How badly do we want to talk to him?
I mean, I need to chase this lead down, so pretty bad. I'm actually gonna take this opportunity to, I guess, draw my draw my revolver, flip it around to the butt end, and I'm gonna cast knock on the door.
Ooh.
Damn.
What does that do?
So second level spell, target that's been shut by a normal lock or that's stuck or barred becomes unlocked, unstuck, or unbarred.
You hear a loud knocking noise as his gun taps against the door, and all of a sudden the gate is unlocked and swings wide open.
Oh
shit.
Well, that's a neat trick.
I mean,
interesting.
y'all know how to open doors too, just maybe a little less discreetly.
I don't know what you're talking about. Big one,
Oh yes.
Arkmir. The lad over there that appeared on the door, was that Black Eye?
Yeah.
I assume it was.
Nope.
It was definitely not.
It wasn't
Well,
Vesna.
Black Eye was a
A
dwarf.
dwarf, yeah.
This was not a dwarf.
Okay. No, I mean,
Was this human or?
He looked human.
Wait, didn't we see someone who was human with a bowler hat? Was that
No,
not?
that was Fado.
Okay.
okay.
Just before we get up there,
They all
Alice,
look the same.
the person who answered the
damn
door
it.
there, look familiar at all of the group that you were tailing?
Make a perception check.
That was Faznog telling us what Fado looks like.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, you seem to recognize his face as one of the dozen or so people that you were tailing.
All right. Yeah. Loosen whatever you got in your holsters or sheaths.
Ooh.
This may get a little rowdy.
Get my shield ready.
No. Okay.
One. What?
What are you guys rolling for?
What are you on about, Derek?
Yeah, don't worry about it. I don't have a spell prepared that I wanted prepared.
Oh, you goofball.
Diamond takes his shield and
Shield buddies, baby.
yeah. And then the warhammer that he loaned from the big one
Oh, that is yours.
in hand.
So what's the plan of action here? Alistair, you going to talk your way into letting us in?
Doors open. So then I just start walking in.
Oh, I like this.
Well,
That's just the gate.
That's the
Luckily,
gate.
we gotta go out the next door.
Yeah,
We still have the door number 2.
Either way, I'm going to just tap your shoulder and say, "Well, good luck with whatever you're trying to do," and I'll give you guidance for whatever you may try to do in the next
And
minute.
I don't really know if Kelthir's doing that, so I'll touch your back as well. But we believe in you. And nothing. It's just the big one's word of good luck, Alistair.
That's a beautiful sentiment.
You need to get a level in Bard just to give Bardic inspiration from that.
So yeah, walk in through the gate and I guess call out, "Hey there!
What's the
Anyone around?"
What's the marching order as you're all approaching and going through the gate and approaching the building?
Well, I would have at least, I would have been right up near Alistair because I touched him to give him guidance.
Technically, me too.
Yeah, he would be there.
I'm towards the back, and I've got my wand drawn, but it's kind of hidden under my cloak.
We're just trying to get to the side of the door, so he's kind of towards the front along with everyone right now. But that's where he wants to get himself situated.
And Diamond was meaning to be close to the front, but these guys kind of crossed in front of him, so I guess I'm right behind the trio.
Back of the line. Just kidding.
As you approach and you give out this call, and there's a little bit of a noise coming from inside, and the door opens and the man looks out. "We said the shops. Holy fuck! What the fuck are you? Get out of our Get off of our property!"
Are you sure this is your property?
Well, technically no, but the shop's closed.
Look,
Move
I've
along.
got
Go
business
buy
with-
from one of the other dozen blacksmith shops around here.
I've got specific business with Black Eye,
As he
and
waves his hand, all of you see like a wristband of razors on his hand.
I've got a very, very rare set of firearms that he's looking to purchase, and if I don't get them into his hands by the end of the day, he's gonna be awful cranky.
Make a deception check.
18.
Add a D4.
With guidance.
Oh,
Extra.
with guidance. 21.
And then another D20 for my inspiration.
The guard at the front kind of like looks at you, glances over all of you, doesn't seem to recognize any of you, looks back and shouts out, "Hey, Fatnog, there's a guy here who wants to sell some guns to you?" "Yeah, I told him the shop's closed." "Well, fuck, what do I know?" And he closes the door and steps back. And probably a half a minute later, the door opens again, and this like short dwarf with like black shaggy hair kind of looks out at you. "Hi, what's up? I don't know you. Who are you? The shop's closed."
I didn't think I'd get this far.
Alistair, I have this, okay? Mr. Faznog, we actually spoke with you the other day. It's a pleasure to see you again. We heard that you might have a secret tunnel in your back, and we're wondering if we could come take a look.
The fuck! He like slams the door shut, and you hear him locking the door in front.
Wow, that is.
You hear some shouting coming from the inside. And there's like, they know about the fucking tunnel.
Well, I thought that would
Well,
work.
good effort. Went well.
Well, get them out of here. I
We
don't
may
know.
want
We
to
can't
act.
kill.
We're just listening to them talking at the moment.
Yes.
While that's happening, I'm gonna start working on this door.
Yep. Make a thieves tools check. There's
We're
just
gonna-
shouting coming from the inside.
Yeah, I'll
Who
put my
told them?
big
How do they
ear
know?
on the door.
I'm gonna go over to the window and see if there's like a crack in the curtains that I can peek in and see anything.
So it's
Make a
a
perception check.
It's a 15 naturally. It's a 18 with my the bonus die.
Oh, nice.
I rolled a nat one, so I see shit.
Yeah, you can't see anything. It's dark inside. It's not like it doesn't seem to be very well lit inside. But Arkmir, just in a brief moment, you're able to pick the lock, and you feel like you could open the door and get in. They're still just shouting on the inside, like, how did they find out? I bet it was Bruno. Bruno fucking always told somebody that it was his fault.
They're talking about a Bruno, but I've heard we never talk about a Bruno.
Never.
Um,
No.
yeah, he's not. Fuck, we can't tell. We can't let them in. It's today. Today's the day. We can't fucking let them in.
As Arkmir opens the door.
And as Arkmir opens the door, I would like all of you to roll initiative.
Oh no!
It's,
Oh,
it's,
la, 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 la.
it's happening.
Well, let's see how this goes.
Oh,
okay,
wait.
pretty good.
Something's happened with roll 20.
He's
Mhm.
making it the map.
Darkness.
Damn.
Oh, damn, that looks cool.
Ooh.
Also, big shout out to Che and Peku off of Patreon for this battle map.
Hey.
Thank you.
CZEPEKU for their Patreon. Go give them a follow and a like. They're really awesome. They make some really, really cool battle maps.
It's so pretty.
Oh, this is like Vocon's wet dream.
all the armor. It's not like colorful yet. But...
Shit.
If there were cards on those tables, woo!
Oh, damn.
Just an instant explosion in that room.
Sploosh.
Yeah.
Sploosh.
You don't want to go in there with a black light.
All right, initiative 25 to 20.
23.
Yeah.
Get him, glass boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna die.
20 to 15.
Oh boy.
I even had advantage.
Dude, this isn't good for me.
15 to 10.
14.
14.
What's your
That's the higher
die?
dex between you two.
Probably.
My dex is 8.
Oh, then I go first. I have 12.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 10 to 5.
8.
Oh boy.
Well, I rolled a natural 1 minus 3, so
Oh,
You're just gonna sit out.
I don't really know how that works out to be initiative order, but yeah.
And
It
Tyler.
goes back around and you're actually
4.
second.
Last place, coming up the rear.
All right, Arkmir, you pop open the store and you look inside and you see a thug with like loose-fitting leather armor. He's got like a crossbow bolted to his back, got a mace dangling from his side, got a wristband of razors. You look to the left, you see a bunch of these mannequins with armor set up on them. The one in front is actually arguing with Faznog, who, as soon as the door flips open, kind of like looks and like steps back with his hands up. You also notice off on the left side near one of the mannequins, there's another one who's just keeping watch and has like his crossbow drawn and at the ready. What are you doing?
Sorry, so the guard closest to us is like hands up?
No, Faznog is the one with his
Oh,
hands up.
Faznog. Okay.
Where is he in the drawing?
He's just not there.
Okay.
He's technically not a threat. I'm
He's
guessing.
like right there,
Okay.
right between these two tables.
Right. Yeah, I guess with Arkmir, he kind of sees the guards, grins, and I don't know if he makes eye contact with one of them at all, but wants to flash the collection of razors bracelets that he's obtained so far, and then and then he's gonna dash in here to one further back.
Alright.
What?
Oh,
Oh wait, let me see. Let me think about that. Yes, yeah.
Oh boy.
So we go 5, 10. I think I'll have to disengage, right? Because I'm running by this person.
you would have to use your bonus action to disengage,
Yep.
Or you could just let them swing at you.
or that.
And he's dead.
I'm telling you your options.
Yeah.
What side are you on?
So 5, 10, 15. Can I go directly up here, or is that hard to go up of?
It's like a 5 foot, like, or sorry, not a 5 foot, like a 3 or 4 foot climb. You can probably climb up it, but it'll be like difficult terrain.
It's
Okay.
the climb.
I should have enough with my general movement and
If you want to
my
preserve
bonus.
your movement, you can make a acrobatics check to try and like jump over.
It should be fine. I think just use my movement, because I think once I engage this guy, I'm not gonna be able to disengage here. And I will. Yeah, if I see this guy here with his crossbow, I'm gonna take a swing at him.
Yeah.
Roll to hit.
Fuck him up.
Oh wait, I do have my plus 6. That's 13 to hit.
That hits.
Let's go.
Okay.
They're not wearing like they're just wearing plain old leather armor. They don't seem to be decked out in anything fancy.
6
Probably around
Losers.
12. 11, 12,
and
something like that.
3. That is 7 damage.
Is this with a psychic dagger or a normal dagger?
This one's just the normal dagger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you unsheath I guess your rapier, not a dagger. Like, poke it, and then as you pull your rapier out, it's their turn. So they're both going to turn around.
Ooh, okay.
This one immediately, like right in the front, turns around and sees, fuck, and like rushes forward towards Alistair, who's the first one, like who's standing right beside the door. The one who in the back that's engaged with you, Arkmir, you see him put his crossbow away and unbuckle like a mace, like
Ooh.
hammer, like maul that's tied to his belt. He wails at you.
No, that was his action. Put a crossbow away, pull it.
He dropped the crossbow to the ground.
Okay. If we're getting technical.
Yeah. The first attack is a 14 to hit.
That misses.
hit.
Let's go.
The second one is an 11 to hit.
Wait, who are you doing this for?
Those are both on Arkmir.
Okay.
And then the two
Okay.
swings against you, Alistair. That is a 22 to hit.
Yeah. Maybe.
And 18 to hit.
Yeah.
That's 4 points of bludgeoning damage and 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
They're coming out swinging.
You also hear some noise coming from the door to your right.
You're...
So there's a
Oh,
door
there is
on the
a door
right,
over
and you
there.
do hear voices coming from behind. There's also another door in the back behind the counter, but yeah.
Alistair did say there was approximately 12.
Kalthir, it's your turn.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to.
Hey guys, we're in combat.
I'm so excited.
I know, it's been like 18 episodes. We did it. We pissed people off.
I'm going to. Let's see. Do I want to move at all? The guy's like right there. No, probably not. Yeah, I'll just like. Nah, it actually doesn't matter. I'll kind of stay where I am. I'm going to look to the 3 people directly on my left, which would be Astra, Tymond, and Big One, and just say, things might get a little heated in here.
Ooh.
Let's give them hell. And I'm gonna cast Bless on the 3 of you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Oh, that's
You are
nice.
blessed.
So nice. What a guy.
Hashtag bless.
Mm-hmm.
This
And-
faint moonlit glow suffuses your armor and your person.
Yep. And that is, I think, given. Yeah. For now, that's all I'm gonna. That'll be my turn for now. Yep.
Astra.
Okay. I'm right here. I am. Did I hear the people from that door as well?
Yeah, I think it would have been pretty straightforward to hear that. Like,
Okay.
there's some like bustle and noise and shouting coming from the door behind to the inside to the right.
Okay. You know what? Screw it. Let's do Eldritch Blast
Eldritch blast.
on this mofo.
Ooh.
Roll that.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I'm going that
Just
far.
sniping him across the map.
Astra got tasted blood, and
Uh,
now she's a freak.
Super free.
She's super
So-
freaky.
Roll the 2. But I get
Hmm.
+5, so it's a 7, and I also get a D4 because I'm blessed.
Okay.
Check.
That's a 10.
Just go sailing just past the shoulder up into the wall, just in the very exact corner of the hut or of the shack. Or
It's like that old
blacksmith
TV
shop.
screen where the thing's trying to perfectly go in the corner. Astra's like,
Yeah.
I got it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because he's on this like platform up above, or maybe you're just go sailing right over him.
Shaking a little bit. Friggin' frig tits. Okay.
Do you get 2 attacks with your Eldritch Blast yet, or is that next level? It's just one
Not-
attack. Okay,
Not right now, I don't think.
cool. Alistair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eldritch
Alright.
blast.
I'm going to just kind of weave my way around to the side of them, pull out both revolvers, use a mobile flourish,
Ooh.
and
Okay.
yeah, just shoot him point blank. So I've got the gunner feet, so I don't have disadvantage on my shots.
Ooh.
Roll to hit.
Yep. Oh god.
That's not.
What's this
Real
mobile
nice.
flourish? Are you like running and gunning?
Ah, crap. 12 for the first hit.
That hits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Shitty armor.
So that is 11 damage, and it pushes him back 5 feet. Oh, and sorry, that's 11 plus 1 bardic inspiration die
I
for
think I
another
hit
2.
by like a shotgun.
So 13 total. Sorry.
Whew.
Nice.
Damn.
Bam.
You said it pushes him back how many feet?
5 feet. Yeah, I was looking to kind of
Nice.
just
So he
shove him into
staggers
that armor.
into this like suit of armor in the back, and it goes clanging all over the floor, knocking over
Nice.
another suit of armor behind him. It's loud and noisy.
Does he fall prone?
Uh-oh.
He does. Does he fall prone?
Paul
I just mean from what you described. Not from what Alice did.
No, he stumbles and
Okay.
puts his hand up against the wall.
You almost
know,
got
I
him,
know.
Derek.
I should have just
almost
said
got
yes.
him.
I should have
Yeah.
said yes. Yeah, he does.
I was
saw it.
asking Alistair because he knows his ability. But
Yeah.
yes.
Not part of the ability, unfortunately. I just
Okay.
wanted to get out of range of him. And then yeah, I guess I'll shoot again with my other gun.
Alistair's literally a boss bitch.
Nat 1.
No, he's not. Just
So you see
kidding.
him pull these revolvers out, and the mechanism on them doesn't seem familiar to either of you. Like the rolling chambers, like none of that is stuff that you've seen in any of the weapons before. It's like a firearm, but it's very different construction-wise and material-wise and build-wise than any of the ones that you have used or seen around the city. What was your roll to hit on these?
3.
Yeah, no.
Sorry,
Your second
5.
shot just goes wide. Maybe it's because he's at such an odd angle while he's recovering from being staggered back, so you just miss him.
Yeah, and then
Timon.
with
Or,
which
sorry,
is
go
like
ahead.
with the rest of my movement, I'll just move over here to this corner.
Nice.
That works.
You clamber your way up on top, pulling yourself up, kneeling there behind one of the suits of armor, looking back. Timon. What do you do?
All right, so Timon rushes inside, and as he does, he looks at Black Eye and say, "Go hide behind your counter now and stay there." And after he does that, he will, he will grab his hammer. He will slam it to the ground angrily and activate Giant Smite.
All
God
right. The entire
damn it.
doorway just fills with this giant dwarf. As the hammer again, like the hammer that you use doesn't do anything. It's the other hammer seems to get the shards of stone from your bag. Like your bag literally strains up against it and then snaps open, and the shards of stone fly out and form the weapon in your other hand. And you're like, okay, I guess I'm using this now because the other hammer doesn't grow large. And you turn and look at this poor
I
Pud
guess
who's just leaning up against the corner.
I guess I take another step, and then I fuck him up.
Alright, roll the hit.
And yeah, that should hit. 22.
That definitely hits.
All right. Oh man, what dice do I roll? Haven't done this in a while. Stonebreaker.
It's a stone breaker.
Oh yeah. Okay. I remember now. Oh, and yeah, I had bless, but I didn't even need to roll that. Okay. And ooh, yes. This is 13 points of damage.
Ooh, nice.
Wow.
God damn.
And that's my turn.
You take your hammer and you swing it into his side, almost like knocking him and pinning him against the wall behind him. He looks pretty bruised. He's still standing. Big one.
All right. So first thing I will do is running into the room. I will run past Timon and be like, "Oh, okay." And then I'll kind of run here, and then as I'm running with my big elephant ears, I'll hear the commotion going on in the other room. I'll be like, "Oh, this could get bad." And I will point my arm at that direction, and in the middle of the hand, you'll see a little pipe shoot out from inside the palm, and I will cast grease in the 10-foot radius around the door on this side.
Amazing.
So
Is that basically like a banana peel?
So it says when the grease, basically it says when the grease
It's like-
appears, each creature standing in it, which there's nobody standing in it, but it says a creature that enters the area or ends its turn there must also succeed on a dexterity saving throw or fall completely prone.
Nice.
Just like that area or more.
Sorry, do that
I
again?
drew it on the map.
It's 10 feet, so that's probably good.
Did you pick the point as the door or the point like?
It'd probably be
Where
like
would
the
you-
point like right there. Oh wait,
Okay.
no, but
Where would you have done it? Just put it there.
I don't want to obviously hit Timon, so like yeah, that's probably good. I'd probably put it like right there, so 10 feet like all around is these like 6 squares.
And then when someone steps foot in it, they have to
or
roll a
ends their
dexterity
turn.
saving
It's
throw?
both. Yep.
Or ends their turn.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's when they enter it or go to or like stand there. So that's all grease. And then I'll be like, and then you'll see the pipe go back in. I'll lower my hand and I'll whistle, and I'll get the professor to run in using my bonus action to run in at this guy, and then that ends my turn, which means the professor goes and he's gonna bite him in the butt.
Roll it.
Let me just pull up the professor here. Okay. What is his? Okay. That is a 16 to hit, so that should hit.
That hits.
Okay, and Dan. Sorry, it's 1d8. Where's my d8? Right here. And he will bite him in the butt for. Ooh, that's good. 7 plus 2, 9 damage.
Ooh,
9.
9.
He staggers and is like the bite almost like clamps into his arm, and as he pulls away, he's bleeding profusely from it. This guy's looking real bad.
His arm.
That's just where the professor got to. Like, he can't call shot the leg.
It wasn't the leg, it was the butt.
The butt is definitely not accessible. It's not behind him. Anyway,
He bites the penis then.
Please
The
go
butt-
into the semantics here.
yes, the butt is not accessible is not my favorite line.
New text page.
That's
We
our
got
new,
so many
that's our
shirt
t-shirt,
ideas
yeah.
coming out of this.
The butt.
Arc
Need a
Mirror, it's your
t-shirt.
turn. What are you doing?
I am taking another swing at this guy here.
All right.
You know what the
Do it.
greatest thing about grease is? It's not a spell slot. It's you cast it once per day with a little bit of butter.
Whoa.
I'm pretty sure I
Little
got a
bit
little
of
bit, but
butter?
we're artificing it to make it be just. He's got a little grease compartment that he's got to fill up.
So that's a
Nice.
21 to hit.
Ooh,
That hits.
Ooh, nice. That hits.
And I realized I used a D6 instead of a D8 last time, so I'll fix that.
Oh, this guy.
8 damage.
Nice.
And
Right.
then I am gonna follow that up with another attack if he's still
Yep, he's still
doing
standing.
alright.
Yep. He's still fine. You poked a few holes into his armor. He's bleeding a little bit from it, but he's still standing.
16 to hit
Definitely hits.
and 6 damage this time.
Yeah, you've just been stabbing holes into him. He's still standing. Still like reeling a little bit from the stab wounds and
Oh,
So
a little bit of
slices
blood
on
loss,
the
but he's
inside
still
of his
standing.
arms and legs.
DM,
Yep.
real quick, I forgot to add my giant might dice to that last hit. So +1.
He's still standing.
He's done.
Okay.
On their turn, this door opens up and you
Oh.
see a figure run through it. Damn it, the figure is below the paint. Let me make a dexterity saving throw for him. What's the DC on it? He rolled a natural 1, so that does not matter. He gets knocked down and falls prone.
Let's go! It worked!
He should break his
He's
neck
just like,
for a natural one.
whoa! Yeah.
Falls like
Yeah, smokes his head on the edge of the bar on his way down and just
yeah.
Another guy like looks at him and is like, "What the fuck?" and like steps out over him and has to roll a dexterity
come
saving throw.
on. Just a pile of people.
He rolls a natural 19. So,
Damn.
Damn.
he like starts to slip and then like steadies himself on the wall behind, looks around. What the fuck's going on? Steps out of the grease over here, and you see him pull out like a crossbow from his back. And he decides, changes his mind. Instead, drops the crossbow, pulls out like a shield and a mace, and just stands there. Like, what the fuck's going on? Who are these guys? Meanwhile, the other two,
I can't believe that worked.
the one on you, Arkmir, makes his 2 attacks. That is a 14 to hit
That misses.
and a 18 to hit.
That hits.
That is 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ouch.
He's down.
Yeah.
And I'm dead.
Dead.
Yeah.
The one that's being pinned in the wall, like between the wall and you, Timon, he just like looks up. Who the fuck are you? He like pulls up his mace and tries to make like a couple of half-hearted swings at you. That's a 19 to hit
Hits.
and 6 to hit.
Doesn't hit.
You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage from the mace. So he swings wildly at you, not really able to gather himself. Gather his full force at least. And it is Kaltir's turn.
All right. I am going to.
Question, Rafay. Who was that who just hit Timon? The guy right beside Little One?
That one, yeah.
Can feel free to, because it's already happened. I just forgot about it because I've never used the Little One in this way. He actually has a reaction deflect attack for a creature within 5 or a person within 5 feet of it. Provide the attack rolls other than the defender. So if he's targeting someone other than the defender, he imposes disadvantage on that attack roll.
All right.
You can use it if you want. I just
Ooh.
remembered it and was trying to
Um,
get to the text before.
So it's on one attack though, right?
Yeah, just one. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to do the first 2 rolls for that first attack?
Yes. So the first attack would have missed, and then the second attack would have been a 3. So it would have missed.
Miss,
Right?
miss.
Yeah. So you
Alright.
don't take the damage.
Cool.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's just like biting,
Yeah.
is trying to go for his butt, like "Arr!" He's trying to find out booty.
Nice, doggy.
Yep. Kaldir, it's your turn.
All right. I am going to get in here now. So I see the few guys over there on the right side, and I see Arkmir up there duking it out with the one. I'm going to cast. I'm gonna cast Healing Word on Arkmir. So that will be 8. So that might just put you right back to full because I think you took
Yep.
7.
Sweet.
You
So
healed him
that's
3/4 of his health.
that,
Mhm.
and then yeah, and then I'm gonna cast because that was a bonus action. I'm gonna cast Sacred Flame on the one who's also that he's fighting.
Nice.
So that will be a dex save for him.
That's a 5.
Haha. All right. So he takes 3 radiant damage.
It's
Ooh.
damage.
Got him right where I want him.
It is damage. So the steering light almost like erupts from the space around him and hits him. But he's still standing. It almost cauterizes his wounds a little bit from all of the stab wounds that he's got. It definitely does hurt. Astra.
Okay, so Astra is going to move inside as well, and she's kind of frustrated with herself. It's been a while since she's been in a fight, so she feels like she's kind of lost her mojo a little bit. So she's like, "Come on, Astra!" and she like slaps herself in the face. She's like, "Okay," and she's gonna cast Witch Bolt at the guy up on the platform,
Alright.
and she's not gonna miss this time.
Faith.
Nat 20.
That is
Bless.
oh, and
Or
to miss?
guidance or whatever.
You're
Bless.
still
Yep.
blessed, yeah.
You are still blessed.
okay,
It's a plus D4.
yep, 22 to hit.
That definitely hits.
Okay.
So this bolt of like energy emanates from your wand and sticks onto this.
It looks like a nebula, actually, for Faye.
Yeah, this bolt of nebula-like energy. erupts
You
from your-
know, like
Grab the nebula.
Okay.
connecting the tip of your wand to the chest of this guy.
And because so 2d12 damage. Theoretically, that should be pretty good. But one of those was a 1
nice.
and a 9, so 10. 10 points of damage.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
He crumples onto the ground, just like barely on both knees, just standing and not.
And not.
He's not dead, but he's still standing.
Okay.
I thought I lost volume for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he stumbles a little bit and like staggers, but he's still standing, and he's like looking at you between you and Arkmir, trying to figure out what to do. Alistair.
All right.
Oh yeah. No. Sorry. I had time and an Alistair
Birds, stop
backwards.
meowing at me.
Alistair.
Alistair. I'm just gonna take a shot at the guy that's actually no, I'm gonna cast Vicious Mockery at him.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
At
just,
which one? At the guy.
the one that's on Arkmir.
So that's he gets a saving throw.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
Wisdom
2, so
13.
he's definitely not making that. So
Boy,
he
if you
failed.
were any more inbred, you'd be in a fucking sandwich.
T-shirt
Put it on
idea
a
number
t-shirt.
3. Yeah.
Say that
That's
again.
why I asked.
No.
How much
Thank you.
damage is that? How much?
2,
2
Uh,
psychic
and
damage.
he has disadvantage on the next attack roll.
That he
Nice.
does. That he does. Is that everything?
Damn.
All right, Diamond.
Diamond.
All right. Taiwan is going to attack again.
Roll to it.
Yeah, I don't even need this guidance, but roll it. What? Why not? 28.
That definitely hits.
Close one.
That was the
And
close one.
that will be that will be 12 points damage. But as Diamond is arcing his hammer upwards, he says, "Who I am doesn't matter, lad. But you are now just one more for my collection."
Oh, damn. Freaking
As
psychopath.
you whack him in the head, he crumples to the ground, pinned up against the wall. It's like brain matter oozing out of his skull. Definitely, completely dead.
Brain matter.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dead.
Yes. And I am going to turn.
Oh, Phasmog by the time has definitely just run and is hiding behind the counter, by the way.
Good boy. And for a bonus action, I don't have anything that I want to do as a bonus action, so I guess I'm just going to move forward over here, just outside of the grease, but just want to corner the guy that's right there.
All right.
That's my
Big
turn.
one.
Yep. All right. Well, I was turning to look at the guy that was up here, but then I heard a guy come and go, oh, and slip. So I'm going, oh, and then I'm going to look at him, hold out my arm. You'll see the familiar blue, light blue mist that comes out, and I will cast Ray of Frost at him.
Nice.
And is that advantage because he is prone?
A
Disadvantage.
disadvantage because he is prone, and it is a ranged attack.
Ranged attack against prone people is disadvantage. For
Oh,
range.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Melee attacks are at advantage
That's
on a
fine.
prone target.
That's a good start. A natural 19 and a natural 14 plus 6, so 20.
That still hits.
Latte, and it's just a D8. But... Okay. So that is 4 points of damage. And not only is he prone in grease, but his speed is reduced by 10.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Stay there, please.
And
Professor, and then the professor will just keep following Tymond, and he'll just be like, "Arr, arr," and he'll go for that guy's butt,
Okay.
and he'll just
Roll to hit.
bite into him again here.
is that but accessible?
No, it is not.
These
Also,
are the
this
questions we
guy's
have
pulled
to
out a shield, so he's got a shield blocking.
Yeah.
His what?
He's
What? Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
The shield seems to be brand new, and it seems to be made of iron.
Ooh.
Quest.
I'd
We
like
gotta
to
loot those
steal
bodies.
sort of,
Mental note: we gotta loot
runes
dead
around
bodies. So that's a 15 plus 4 is 19 to hit.
Still hits, in spite of the shield.
Okay,
Really?
and then that is 4 damage on him as well.
All right.
The most damage, but a big metal dog just came chomping with his metal teeth at him.
Yep.
Arr.
Arkmare, what are you doing?
I'm looking at this guy on. I guess he's on his knees now, so I just see opportunity. I'm gonna go for the jugular here.
Yeah, let's go.
22.
nice.
Definitely hits.
And
Here's on point tonight.
7 plus- I have 12 damage. Sorry, no, I misspoke. 11 damage. Yeah.
As you stab him in the neck, this time you definitely hit a vital point. As you pull the rapier out, he crumples to the ground in a heap, almost falling off down the stairs.
Deaded.
Deaded.
Dead.
Yeah. Quick
Yes.
question. Could I have used my bonus action there to just rip the wristband of the razor blade that I killed?
No, that wouldn't have been a bonus action. That would have been
No.
an action if you wanted to do
Okay.
that.
All right.
Oh, you're really trying for this Legolas Gimli shit.
Yeah, we'll collect it for you after. Yeah. One.
On my
Arkmir, is
arms.
there anything else that you're doing?
Yep, I'm actually going to use my movement here to move forward. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So, what do I see? I see two guys here. One is standing up by Timon,
Yeah.
and one is on the ground.
Yeah, one of them is on the ground.
The guy in front of you is like kind of covered in grease on the ground, and a mist is covering him.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw. This is where I'm gonna use my psychic blade and attack the target in front of Timon.
Okay, roll
Ooh.
ahead.
Ooh, should still hit actually. 14.
Nice. You also do get sneak attack, and it does hit.
Ooh.
So the guy with the shield gets hit with a 14 still.
Yep.
Give me a second. Seven. So that's 11. 6, 17. This is two good rolls. That is 23 damage.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
What a dagger.
It's like, and the funny thing is, there's no wound on him. It's just his head, just almost like he just grabs his head and almost like ducks down a little bit. It's like he can't even see or hear you all. And it's
Because
fitting.
he's
Spilling
dead.
from his eyes.
Oh god.
It's fitting that it's their turn, and he just like immediately drops the shield and the hammer. Is like, what the fuck? Who are you guys? What do you want? And he's like ducking and cowering in pain and fear. Kelter, it's your turn.
Okay.
The other
Seeing
guy
that-
just barely like tries to come to and like stand up.
Yep.
And immediately falls, like slips and falls back down. He's like just leaning up in the corner.
Oh no.
He
poor
hasn't
guy.
even drawn his weapon yet.
He's just crying.
Okay, seeing that,
Uh,
I'm going to
Poor guy.
I'm gonna just come up here a little bit, but I'm gonna look to Alistair and just say, how do we want to play this? They seem to be surrendering here to some degree, and I'm gonna hold an action. If either of those guys or another figure enters the room with hostility, meaning they look to make an attack against any of us.
Okay. Astra.
Just gonna blow it off.
She's gonna
I'll-
rip his head off.
I'll move like up here. I'm just gonna cast Eldritch Blast. I'm not gonna do Witch Bolt on this one because I have limited spell slots, but I am gonna try to hit him with Eldritch Blast.
Disadvantage as well
Roll
then.
it with disadvantage because it's a ranged attack, and he is still prone.
Okay, disadvantage.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hang on.
Ranged attacks on prone targets have disadvantage because they're like on the ground and a smaller target.
Oh, okay. Oh, I rolled 2 16s plus
Ooh.
5. That's 21.
Should
It
hit.
still hits.
God damn.
Plus your blast.
This is us
Oh, yeah, I
taking
didn't even
our
do that.
frustration out of 7 episodes without combat. The dice gods are like, welcome back.
3 points of damage.
Right. The guy who's just like leaning in the corner just goes, ah, fuck! It's like, I give up! And Alistair, it's your turn.
All right. Yeah, it's kind of a similar mindset to. Well, I guess maybe not similar mindset to Arkmir, to Kalthir. I'm just gonna move 30 feet over to this corner,
Yes.
aim my gun at Black Eye.
Black Eye.
Phasnog?
Phasnog?
Just say, you and I need to have a chit chat.
Sure. Let's talk. Time end big one, Arkmir, any of you guys attacking?
Diamond wants to basically see the guy in front of him just cowering and like dropping his weapons. He is going to like with his giant hand pin the guy against the wall and say, "Speak."
And then the professor is going to grab the iron shield and drag it back to me.
Looting for you.
Oh, professor. Oh,
You see a little bit of a wet puddle forming underneath this figure as you're
Aw.
holding him up against the wall.
What does he look like? Is he a human?
He's human. He's human. Like a similar sort of like bald head. And he's got like he's wearing like almost a bandana of sorts. Plain leather armor. Nothing too fancy. It just seems like a grunt of the razors. You've seen a few
Razors
of them
on the-
as
on the
the
wrist?
razor blades on the wrist. Yeah. The shield that he dropped. The professor kind of like grabs it and pulls it towards you. Just looks like a plain iron shield, but it is made of iron and it's freshly smithed.
Professor,
smithy.
thank you. This will be quite helpful. Thank you. And I'll just put that shield on my back while carrying the other shield.
No, for all intents and purposes, this combat is over. What are you guys doing?
We out of initiative?
Yep.
Okay.
Alistair, you first.
All right. Yeah. So gun's still aimed at Black Eye.
Yeah. Whoa! I don't want anything to do with this. Do I?
I mean, you seem to brush us off when we were a lot friendlier.
I just thought you wanted to sell us some guns. I'm still interested in buying, I guess. He's just not in the mood right now. You can see him kind of like looking between the thugs, and you see him actually glancing at the door behind you a couple of times, Alistair.
Oh shit.
All right. Well, these boys of yours, I assume they seem to be running with you.
Oh,
Also-
I'm working for them. I took a contract to build some parts and make some weapons and shields and stuff. It's just a contract. I have no allegiance to them at all.
How truthful do I feel like he is right now?
Make an insight check.
I would like to check that as well.
Turns out he's the leader of it all.
Natural
Alright.
20 for a total of 26.
He seems to be
Ooh.
telling the truth. There's not a lying bone in his body right now, especially with the chaos that's happened around him and his life on the line.
All right, I'll just look to
He's
Alistair and say,
being very compliant and will answer all of your
Yeah.
questions.
he's telling the truth.
Perfect. Well, fellow countryman of mine works with these here fellas. Kind of begrudgingly admit he's a bit of a dashing fella. Long blonde hair, got an eye patch, bit of a temper.
Yes, Mr. Carrot? Carrot, was it? Yeah, I know him.
All right, well, whereabouts is he located, or do you know if he's coming back here anytime soon to collect on this contract that I assume he's got you roped into?
He points in the door behind him. Back there. They're working on something. In the walls. In the tunnels. Back there. Well, I wanted nothing to do with this at all.
Oh no.
How many more do we have to worry about here?
Here? Just these guys. But I don't know how many of them might be back there. They keep coming and going.
Is Gallon back? Mr. Kareth, is he back there right now?
Probably. He came through last night. Or yesterday afternoon, actually. He went through. Some of his guys came in here last night after him.
How
They went through.
many?
Last night it was about maybe 10 of them. Some they left some folks here. Some of them went out back. I swear I was just trying to make some coin. I had a bunch of iron lying about, and they came and they wanted something built out of it, and so they paid well. I don't ask questions. You know me, never asking any questions, ever.
Like questions like, why would someone want to illegally buy iron?
No, technically this was before it was illegal to buy iron. Technically,
Technically.
Hmm.
Technically.
they came around. They were hiring everybody, all of the blacksmiths around here. They seem to want some. They seem to have a lot of big ideas. They wanted to build some stuff, and they were paying good money. A lot of people here started working on it, and I was just one of them. And then they found out that there was this tunnel, like this mining tunnel that I dug into the back of in my backyard, because my backyard opens up into, like, it's up against the cavern wall. So I've been just doing some hobby mining on the side, to get a few chunks of ore out without having to deal with buying it. And they found it, and ever since then they haven't really left me alone. I wanted nothing to do with it, and the two razors in the corner are just looking up sheepishly at you all.
The one in front of Taiwan. Taiwan's going to get really into his face and say, "What is happening today?"
I don't know. They've been digging back there for weeks, a month. Boss said there was something going down tonight. He sent us over here last night, and we were gonna go in, but lucky fuckers got to go in, and we got stuck with guard duty.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over while this is happening and like extend my hand to help the poor guy that's covered in grease and frost up.
Yep. He looks up at you.
Apologies. You could
like, sticks
understand.
out his hand.
Yeah, I'll like yank him out of it. Apologies for that. You can understand my concern, and I'll pull out an apple and be like, "Are you hungry?" And I'll sit him. I'll sit him on the bar stool, like the stool.
Like,
just
his
be like,
hand is shaking, and he just like takes the apple.
yeah. And I'll just
I think-
sit him on the chair.
The big one has the general right idea here. I don't think these guys are any more threat to us, though. I don't think we want them running off and perhaps alerting anyone or triggering anything else. So perhaps we make sure that the weapons are away from them and maybe just tie them up for now. I don't think there needs to be any more bloodshed with these fellows.
I agree.
But
And then I
before-
look directly at them and say, "I'm sure you understand."
Yes, yeah. We will stay here. We will leave. Whatever you need.
And I. Oh no, I do. I do have rope.
I have rope as well. I could tie. Excuse me, you can understand. I'll start tying the guy that I just helped out. I'll start tying his hands and feet together.
Timon,
Right.
perhaps you can help tie up the
Have a
fellow
little
you
bit of
have over
rope.
there. I'm sure you'll make sure it's nice and tight.
Sure. But before I do that, what were you building?
Fasnod kind of looks, and it's like all sorts of things. They wanted some weapons, some axes, some hammers, some shields, some pickaxes, all sorts of things made out of iron. They wanted some armor. They wanted some parts. They wanted some strange cogs and contraptions, some large panels, something that they needed stuff to help dig the tunnel out back. It was like all sorts of strange things. And it wasn't just me. There was like almost all of the shops out there that were working with them, and those that weren't, well, they weren't getting much business. Their clientele was being scared and run out of town by all the danger around here.
Want to know which ones were in business on this, and tell me, old Ironbeard was in this?
No, Ironbeard seemed to have closed this shop a couple of weeks back, probably because it was getting a little bit rowdy. I don't know where he went. He's not around here right now. Same with that Mountainsmith fellow, Deldrock, whatever his name was.
Yep.
He closed shop, left a few days ago. Old Rana kind of didn't get along very well. He left, but almost everybody else was working with them. They said to do work exclusively with them. They wanted a bunch of different parts and supplies, some large contraptions too, some like large sets of gears, some pistons and levers. I don't even know what the fuck they're doing in there.
It
But
totally
all of
made
the
that project all the blacksmiths. They're all building different components that work into building the fucking thing, and they have no idea what they're working on, but together
Yeah.
it makes like the actual thing.
they kept getting stuff shipped here and moving it into the tunnel, moving it into the tunnel, moving it into the tunnel. I don't even know what all of it was.
Like still pinning the guy against the wall, but looking at Fastnog right now. Time was gonna ask, which one of these were their weapons and armor and parts?
None of them here. They're all out back.
Perhaps
They
we
went into
should-
the tunnels.
Perhaps we
I don't
should
know.
continue
I don't know
down
what
there.
they're doing with them.
All of the parts or other metals that were procured by this group, they are now seized by the Iron Will.
I don't have any, but sure.
Well, there's a bunch of weapons and shields and stuff around, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
But
None of it was part of anything that was paid for by them.
While I'm tying up the one dude that I just also helped.
Yeah.
The area you came from, is there anything?
Just like quietly eating his
Yeah.
apple while you tie his other arm behind his back.
Is there anything through the door that you came from that we should be worried about?
No, it's just his workshop.
Faznog, is there anything in your workshop that we should be worried about?
No, just pieces of work that have lied there abandoned since like got this project.
Is he being still truthful? Like, do I need to?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I swear, everything that they wanted, we built, and I think the last parts were coming in last night.
Oh boy.
And
Well, it seems like
You
we
know
don't have
that
much
tunnel-
time.
Sorry.
I was just,
You know if that tunnel has another exit, or is just the one?
I have no idea. The last time I went in there, it barely went like a few, maybe like a dozen or so feet. That's how far I dug it, but they've been working in there nonstop for about a month.
oh boy.
So who knows where it leads to?
Oh. Well, it seems
Alistair,
like
Diamond takes the
ahead.
rope from Kaltir and starts tying the guy. Not just tying his hand, like he's actually tying the guy.
spinning the guy. It seems like whatever they're planning is happening tonight. I don't think we can really spend too much time discussing this. We should probably go into the tunnel.
I was about to say, Alistair, we're following your lead on this one, but there's a good chance Galorin may be down there. If you wanna catch him before he gets anywhere, this might be your shot.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we'd at least have some sort of assurance that this is the only entrance and we could look to cave it in. But if we don't know if it leads out anywhere else, can't really rely on that.
There might
I
also-
don't expect any of y'all to come in to join me, because who knows what the heck they've been working on. But
There could be some answers
in.
that we are seeking, though. Like, if they're building something that might impact the city or put any of our lives in danger, I kind of feel obligated to find out.
Yeah, about that, Black Eye. Shame on you.
I don't know what they're planning. They were just a customer, and they came and they wanted me to build shit, and I'm always game to build shit, and then one thing led to another, and one thing led to another, and I didn't have a way out.
All
sorry.
these patrons of the city that come to you for blacksmithing. And
My
the rest of
father
your
got
lot,
arrested because of this.
I'm sorry about that.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Nice.
There's the
Time on
dad
turns.
coming
Yeah.
out.
Alistair, you sound like you have young children.
Timon, I suppose, is probably shrinking at this point because
Yeah.
it lasts for a minute, and then he turns to Faznog and said, "You're a disgrace to our race."
Ooh.
Ooh.
I didn't know what it would lead to.
And I'll start walking towards the door that he was pointing to, and when I walk by, I'll be like, "You're a disgrace to our race."
He just raises his eyebrow a little bit.
Then I'll open the door. I kind of want to see what's behind the door.
You open the door, and it leads out into his backyard. Basically, there's like
Yeah.
a forge that's set up, but a lot of like the anvil and stuff have been almost like left cold for a little while. There's definitely like drag marks on the ground from like boxes and carts that have been wheeled through. And in the back, almost like there's the wall of the cavern itself, like the wall of Ward 3, and there's just like a small like slit, like a cave entrance, like a tunnel of sorts, leading into the mountain itself.
Seems like we found our tunnel.
Timon is going to ask Faznog, "Do you have a broom closet or a shed?"
The workshop. Points
Alistair,
to the door to your right.
Anything without too many tools in it.
Blacksmith.
No?
Rats. Alright, Faznog. Time to make amends. You go into your workshop, get any tools or any weapons or any other piece of material that you have inside, bring it out here, and we will put these guys in there. Then we will.
I'm sure you can just tie them up and leave them there.
Should we maybe tie up?
He begins making his
Faznog?
way, and he just does what you say and makes his way into the workshop. You started seeing him coming out with like hammers and like chisels and pokers and all sorts of like different metalworking tools.
While that's happening, I want to take a look at just the different armor around the shop and see if there's anything that might fit Archmere here.
Ooh.
Not like metal, but yeah.
And prepped.
There's a few suits of armor. There's like leather armor, studded leather armor. Just like any of the like plain armors. It seems like he does do some sort of like padding work with armor and like putting rivets into to make the armor out of leather as well. So you can probably find a few pieces that are set up. Maybe some days like they're like a bit secondhand that he got in exchange for like a suit of chainmail that's like hung on one of the mannequins. If there's any particular set of just like basic armor that you're looking for, you can probably find it.
He's trying to survive when we go down that tunnel.
A little more AC is nice.
Is there any elephant-sized pieces in there?
Definitely no elephant-sized pieces in there.
Unlucky.
I'm blanking on what the word is, but is there any like the things that go around the waist that's like really
A
tight?
chastity belt?
No.
Oh, okay.
A corset?
Corset. Thank you. Are there any like corsets?
Yeah, you could probably get one. What do you want it to give like an armor benefit? What sort of armor are you wearing right now?
Like none. My
Oh,
my
okay.
AC is really low. I want it to look cute, but also like maybe add a little bit of AC.
You can basically find any of the like normal suits of armor here. So like there's padded leather armor, there's leather armor, studded leather armor, there's like some chain shirts lying about, there's some scale mail,
So
breastplate.
you're all just stealing from Faznog at this point. That's
Basically,
We're borrowing.
Well, I think it was already made clear by Timon that everything here belongs to us.
That's not what Timon said.
Uh,
That's not what Timon said.
there isn't.
Oh.
Okay, crisis averted. It's okay.
There doesn't seem to be anything that's like particularly set up as like a showcase piece. You gather that any of the super like incredibly rare, like if he had anything, it was probably already seized by the razors. Like most of the stuff here is fairly straightforward, like normal armor that's just lying about on these mannequins.
We're just gonna help himself to the chain shirt.
Yeah, I'm interested in a chain shirt as well.
I want a real cute corset. Leather.
Mm.
Cute.
Well, it qualifies as leather armor.
I like it. Good ideas.
Does that add like plus like 7 to my AC?
No, you
No.
just find leather armor and equip it and see what. I think it
Mm.
should be 11. It should go from
11.
10 to 11, so it'll
Okay.
add like 1. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's AC 11.
I am invincible.
Anything helps.
Yep.
You all begin to. You spend like it takes a little bit of time to like doff your
Right.
armor, like your current armor, and don this and like secure the buckles and all of that stuff. It's like a little bit of a montage while Phasnog empties out his workshop and shoves the 2 razors in there. He comes out and it's like, pleasure doing business with you all.
Should we tie up Mr. Faznog here as well, or
Couldn't
Faznog,
hurt.
Faznog,
Fine. He like
do
sticks
you-
out his arms.
It might be better for his safety. I mean, shit.
so I have lots of rope, so I'll tie him up and then I'll offer him an apple as well.
Takes the apple and then tries to eat it with his hands like
Yeah.
tied.
While that's happening, I just would have gone quickly. I would have asked while this was all happening to the because I forget if it was already asked or not, but to one of the other silent razors and just asked, are there any more of your friends coming by tonight? Should we expect more company coming through here?
I don't think so. Ours was the last batch. Almost everyone else was already here.
Oh boy.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Just gonna put on the record. I'm actually not taking the chain shirt, but doing the studded leather instead. Not realize that there are consequences of medium armor.
Implications.
Yeah, there is.
Faznog. Sorry, I was just gonna say, Faznog.
He's
We're
like
not-
chewing the apple a little bit and thirsty.
We are not thieves. This equipment that we're
As I'm,
taking,
like tying up my corset.
this equipment that we're taking, you will be compensated for them. But we need them now.
Very well.
Tell you,
These are good apples.
the power of the fucking apples, man.
Yeah.
He like
Totally
looks at you
chill,
and says,
man.
"These are good apples. Where'd you get them from?"
Courtesy of Miss Halfstep.
It's like eyes go wide.
Please
He just
continue.
like shrinks back a little and keeps eating the apple.
At some point before we actually start heading in, I would pull Kelthier aside to as much as I can, away from people, and I'll just say, Mr. Kelthier, I've heard the name Galerin a few times, and you've made it clear what happened that day. That tends to be, it's not the first time it's happened to me. If it does happen again, please do your best to pull me from it.
I've been looking at some things. I think I may have something that might be able to help. Let's just hope it doesn't come to that.
Yes. But just in case.
I thank you for your honesty.
And then I'll start heading.
Is there any plate armor?
There's
around?
definitely no place.
Nice try.
It's like 1,500 gold.
Is there a magical Excalibur sword?
Yeah.
There's portions of it. Like you could probably grab a few pieces from different places and make half plate out of it. But like a full suit of like bespoke dwarf-sized plate mail, there's probably not.
Yeah, that's the also funny thing. It's like, yeah, there's a perfectly tailored suit to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Would Timon think that would protect him any better than the chainmail suit that he has on?
It depends. It depends on what Timon's dexterity is.
Diamond's dexterity right now is 13 plus 1.
It would. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
No,
so
no, it wouldn't actually. It wouldn't. It would be the same. It would be the same. 16. Yeah.
Okay. So nope. Diamond's not gonna take it.
So we're not going to the Mushroom Lounge tonight. Is that the general consensus? No Mushroom Lounge. We're gonna go into this big hole in the wall.
Well, I don't
Is there a
think
reason you want to go to Mushroom Lounge?
she's not performing until tomorrow night.
Alright, today's Blorf Day. You heard, Galtier.
Yeah, but I mean, we could go
It's
scope
Blorf
the
Day.
place out. We could
Blorf
figure like where the
Day.
good seats are. But no. Like if we want to go into the big hole in the wall, we can. That's totally down.
Perhaps we can make that a priority when we leave this place.
The Mushroom Lounge.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Alistair, when you're done here, come meet us at the Mushroom Lounge. All right, you go.
Yeah.
We'll be over there. We'll save you a seat.
I'm not saying I don't want to help. I just want to make sure that I'm on the same page.
It is
No Mushroom
priority number
Lounge.
2.
Okay. Yep.
As you all head out into the backyard,
Oh boy.
peeking through to this cave entrance and making your way in. It's even darker over here without any of the light that's been kind of aiding you throughout this
It's so
path.
bright in here.
You take a few steps in and immediately feel claustrophobic. Like there's barely enough room for more than one person to travel
Ugh.
in a straight
Yeah.
line.
Just by the way, Diamond is going up ahead, like leading the way, and he has his rifle drawn.
Yeah, I was trying to do a cool cliffhanger ending here, so
I am sorry.
you take a few steps into the dark, and then as the light fades out from behind you, that's probably where we're gonna stop for the
Yeah,
night.
but wait, I also draw my pistol and I'm also right behind it. That's good to note, though. We'll keep that in mind for when we actually.
Man.
Yes.
Wait, we're going into
going
a
in.
dungeon of dragons?
There's
No
100%
dragons.
dragons down here.
yeah.
There's gotta be.
First
Our
dungeon,
first
maybe?
dungeon, possibly? First delve? Our first delve.
We'll figure out how to get Alistair along for the ride, or at least have someone play him, or maybe have him remote while we're at the table.
Yeah. If he can't
we'll
make it,
figure
we'll get
out-
him remote for sure. You're with us for the next one.
We'll figure out how to make that work somehow.
Oh,
but
baby.
That'll be a week or two from now anyway. So
We'll be back at the
we'll
table.
definitely be back. We'll be back at the table.
Yes.
And gonna be looking to see what the Silent Razors are up to as their master plan unfolds.
Oh boy.
Next time on the Alcove.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.